claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done. Boom. Oh, it's about to get funky. Funkier than you could have ever imagined. You know, Richard Hart is a boss. Hex is literally the best thing on the planet. It's simple mathematics. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The God well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. People motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Like yeah,
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Yash deep, everybody. My God. Ex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. All right. What up, everybody? It's Wells and Proof of Bid here on the check-in. I hope everybody's having a phenomenal Sunday. It's gonna be a good one. So make sure you are strapped in because people have forgotten exactly what's going on in the Hex system. So I'm gonna have to remind them, and that's okay. Yeah, again, it's fine. I mean, you gotta you gotta understand. You know, people. I have a bad memory. People just have bad memories, man. So I get it. But all we can do is try to help, right? Because it's so easy to get caught up in nonsense, right? Because people aren't used to having businesses. They're not used to just letting things work for them, right? We're always used to clicking and fucking around and doing things and thinking that that's what the adding value is, instead of realizing that adding value is actually assessing a situation, realizing the best course of action and taking it, right? That's actually what adding value is, right? Because this is why we have critical thinking in the first place. If we didn't need it, well, the world would be a different place. You wouldn't have cars, you wouldn't have this, you wouldn't have that. All this technology you got, you literally wouldn't have it, right? And people like to act like that's some type of what's the best way to put it? It's like something that's like a given. People don't understand that technology is not a given. It comes from people's ability to use their brain, right? It doesn't just happen because somebody wants it to. And I get that that's hard for people to wrap their head around, but you got to realize when you don't know and somebody's telling you something that might not make sense to you, you got to go figure it out or read or whatever. I mean, we were just talking about this on Hexy stream, how at first, you enter markets, you think you have a clue, and it turns out you don't. That's how I started, right? Like I started without knowing a damn thing, and this is how we all start. And that's why, I try to share valuable information with people. And it's not easy, right? It's not easy for people to realize what's valuable, what's invaluable. And I get it. I've read all the books that there are to read, right? That are quote unquote valuable. And even after doing that, or even while doing that, I was still wrecking myself, right? So it was simply a matter of processing the information and being able to align it, right, with my actions with respect to what I actually wanted from life, right? And that's why understanding money, understanding all these concepts that we talk about over and over and over are important, right? This is why we take these conversations and have them over and over and over, because they need to be had. Where else are we gonna be able to learn concepts and find that ability to stay on the clear path forward, right? Because it's so easy to get caught up in nonsense, right? And that's how you get um that's how you get caught up um in nonsense, right? I mean, look at the people that are selling hex now. I mean, there's a lot of people selling hex now, putting
Yeah.
money in other things, and guess what? It's not looking too good.
You're gonna get burned.
Gonna
Yeah.
get way burned, and it happens every time, right? I mean,
Mm.
we saw it basically like a couple weeks ago at this point, maybe even longer, where somebody literally sold their big or sold their excuse me hex of Bitcoin and jumped right back in with half of their position.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do anything though, but they decided to wreck themselves, and that's just what it is. What
It's
can you do?
interesting. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
also in business. There, like I've been in business for a few years now as a videographer and video maker, and
Mm,
there were so many people that were struggling so much more than me. They were working so much harder, and they were earning so much less
less.
money than I had. Then it was just because people just like to be busy, man. They just like they can't let something just work for them. A lot of people just always want to do something to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fact.
like you said on the other stream, like people like to get burned or people like to get wrecked.
They do. I mean,
Maybe
why
it's
else would they buy
because that
NFTs?
that makes them feel something, like an abusive relationship where someone gets hurt all the time but keeps on doing the same shit because that's the way to
Well,
get attention.
interestingly enough, I won't say it as a means to get attention, but I know when I used to be a trader, a failing trader at the time, I used to always think to myself, all right, one more thousand, one more thousand, one more thousand, right? Because I think that, or you want to believe, let me rephrase, you want to believe that you've learned your lesson, right, from that previous transgression where you played yourself, right, and
Mm.
you think that that next iteration of your set of trades are going to be so much better because you just lost so much money, right? But the case is that you're just really doing the same thing over and over. You're really not changing any of your habits. You're just literally trying to do the same thing that you just failed at doing.
Yeah.
That's what trading literally is for most people. Not
Mm.
everybody makes money. Not everybody even breaks even, right? And this is the thing, people don't realize that because it's so easy, right? All you got to do is sign up for an account and boom, you got access. It's not even like it used to be where you had to call in orders and all this other nonsense, right? It's literally you're in your home, you boom, clicking and you're done.
Yeah, it's gambling online,
That's it, right? And
basically.
we even talked about this in Hexy Stream also, where a lot of people like to think gambling is a word that they can throw around without understanding what it means. And gambling is very simple, right? Gambling is literally pissing in the wind because there are plenty of people that go to casinos and make a living. So clearly they're not gambling,
Hmm.
right? So there's a difference, right? That says a whole lot right there. Because how do we go from being a person that goes to a casino, makes no money, to a person that goes to a casino and makes a living from the casino? When we all know the decks are stacked against us. The house always wins is a common phrase that everybody knows. And I got to tell you, that doesn't change regardless of the casino that you're entering, right? Whether it's the crypto market, stock market, futures markets, foreign exchange markets, it doesn't matter. If you're walking in there with no strategy, sorry to say, you're going to get wrecked because that's exactly what they're for. They're there to wreck you, right? And this is why Hex is so important, man, because Hex literally allows you the opportunity to sit there and do nothing but make money, right? Like, where
Yeah.
else can you do that, right? Because everybody wants to earn yield, but nobody really wants to do the work that it takes to
Yeah, understand
actually
where it comes from,
correct,
how it
to
works. Yeah.
understand where it comes from. That's right. Right, and that's important because where else, like, you can make money all day, right? Because I used to make tons of money,
Mm.
but guess what? That shit is nowhere to be found now because I didn't understand how to keep it. Critical. That's more important than knowing how to make it, because making it is easy, because all you need is to cast the right move and that's it. Like, and the thing is when I started, I'll never forget because I literally went from, like, I did a, what was it, a 100x on my P&L when I first went live trading futures and actually understanding what I was doing, at least in my mind,
Hmm.
right? And the end result was me going from 7 to 70K, right? 7K to 70K, which is that even? No, that's a 10x. It's not even a 100x. It's a 10x.
Yeah.
Um, and losing it all, right? And losing it took much longer than it did to make it, right? But that's the thing. I made it in 6 weeks, and I just bled and bled and bled and bled and bled and bled and bled until I was done, right? Now the question is, well, shit, how do you get to that point where you can make so much money so fast? Now this is Wall Street shit, and Wall Street is damn near impossible to make that kind of money. So I
Yeah.
know I'm a good trader. Like, that let me know I was a good trader because that was during the most volatile markets that have ever existed in our history, in our generation. You're never going to see volatile markets like that ever again because they've made it their business since that time to ensure that that volatility does not exist. Why? Why is that? Most people don't understand the why behind that. Now, the why behind that is very, very powerful. And I'll tell you why. And actually,
Right
Richard
after the
says this.
commercials. Nah, I'm kidding.
Sorry, I take a
Nah,
sip
I'm
of
kidding.
water. But I was gonna say, Richard says it all the time. Volatility is a feature,
Yeah.
not a bug. So in essence, if you don't understand that, right, you can't comprehend the significance of a 70, 85% dip in an asset that's phenomenally good, right? Because Hex is phenomenally good. It is not just good. It is phenomenally good. It is the best, right? And I'm not saying it because I own it. It's because I know what the hell is out there. I've done my due diligence, right? If you have not, then you clearly are not going to know that, right? So, what becomes of that money pot when you don't have the ability to assess the entire market? Well, that money pot becomes a pissing pot, right? Because you take all the money out of there and just piss it into the wind. And this is what begets gambling. That's what gambling is, right? No matter the market, you always end up wrecking yourself when you don't have the ability to think critically about your decisions, right? And a lot of us are driven emotionally when it comes to making decisions about money, right? Even nowadays, even if I make slightest decision without thinking about it, thinking about it for real with respect to money, I lose it because I
Hmm.
didn't take the time to put in the thought process as far as what the right decision is, right? And you, Margable, are actually a good person to speak on this front because
Ah.
you made a specific decision, right? When you decide to come and become a hexagon and do whatever it is that you're doing now, right? Could you speak about that a little bit? Because you talk about it all the time, and I kind of want people to hear it because it's a thought process that you have as a young man that I didn't. Right, it took me a while to get there, and that's very important because everybody needs to understand this thing that you're about to say.
Well, yeah. Basically, I did all my learning in 2017 with crypto, making it all and then losing it all. And basically, I was thinking, well, this is a shit show, crypto. And I found Hex, and I didn't even understand the code or whatever it was. But I saw the community behind it, and I was like, this thing is going somewhere because it was different, because I understand social dynamics. And that's where I got into Hex, and I was like, well, I'm going to be part of this community because these people are going to be very wealthy, and I want to be around those people because I understood the community first, and then I just watched a lot of videos, and then I understood what the system was. And well, then you have just the perfect image of, oh, this is going somewhere.
Right.
And instead of me buying and then just hoping everything would go up. I'm business minded. I'm entrepreneurial. Is that a word? And
Yeah.
entrepreneurial. Okay.
Yep. That's the
Um,
word.
I didn't want to. I
I
didn't
could
want to
guess.
sit on my ass and just do nothing because I've done that a lot of times, and I did that in 2017 as well. I was useless. So
Yeah.
in 2017, so I worked on my skills, and now I'm back. And I had a lot of skills now, so I wanted to add that to the community, and I did that, and that led me to a lot of work now because I make a lot of videos for the community. This is basically my full-time job. Just having fun with hexagons and making some videos. Like I couldn't even care less about if I have hex or pulse or whatever. Like I'm here in the community and I'm having a blast and just chilling out and working a lot with cool people. And it's all because every time there's something in life, um, something happening, I know that is that I can influence it with the skills that I have instead of just being part of the situation. Like the more skills you have in different aspects of life, the more you can always direct situations to your liking. And if you just understand a few pillars of those aspects of life, you can literally just steer your life anywhere. Like, every time someone says, "Well, you got kind of lucky with that buy-in on Hex," and I say, "Nope, that's definitely not luck. I've been working about 10 years on that. Thank you very much."
Right.
Because when I was like, nah, not 10 years. Like when I was 16, um, I basically understood. Well, I'm an idiot. I can't do anything. Um, I don't really have skills. School's only teaching me how to follow. I'm not for that. So I just started to see what kind of skills would be valuable in life with people or with videos, for example. And I just started to do random shit, just speak to random people on the street because I was socially awkward. And I did sales from door to door,
Oh
just
man. I'm
selling
sorry.
electricity contracts without
Yeah.
me being actually able to have a decent conversation. Like I would just say hi, and then the door would be slammed.
Yep.
Well, the door wouldn't be slammed, but I would say
Something
hi,
like
and
that.
then I couldn't proceed with my pitch because I forgot it all. And then you're just standing there in front of a person, like I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right.
But I went through all that, and then I understood social dynamics, and from social dynamics, I understood how to get customers, and that's what made me successful with my company as a videographer. Like within the first year, I was more successful than most videographers around me that had been working for years.
That's crazy.
And it was only because I understood clients and how to get more clients out of those clients. And I did exactly the same when I saw Hex. I saw the social dynamics behind it and was like, oh, this is definitely going somewhere. I want to be part of those people. I want to be around those people. And so went I went to just add some value to the community. I just started with some random ass memes um, that I sent to the streamers, some streamers that I was watching, just some funny stuff and add some value in the chats and just um, what's the word? Um, yeah, just appear in the chats, just be around. And then my name was around, and then I told Elliot Brand, I sent him a message and I said, "Can I get on the stream with you?" And he saw me around, and he saw some photos of me, I think. Well, and there you go. And now some really cool friends and a full time job, just hanging out with these people.
Right.
It's really dope, man. And it's nothing about luck. It's nothing about like you can go and gamble, like spend all your time gambling and trying to get good at gambling. But why not just spend your time making yourself a better person and working on those skills, because that will always pay you back significantly. Because I already know I'm fucking 24 and I already know that my entire life is going to be fucking amazing because I understand it. That's
Simple.
huge.
Yeah, it's simple too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
imagine taking taking this notion of understanding social interaction, because look, I used to try to be a salesman too when I was socially awkward, and let me tell you, it wasn't
Uh
fun.
huh. Oh
Right?
no,
It's not fun.
I
And
literally cried on the street at some point.
I mean, it's
It's
tough
fucking terrible.
because, yeah, you try to do what you think makes sense when you don't realize you just don't have a clue, right? And that's what's so hard about life, right? Is about figuring out what makes sense and what doesn't, because 99% of the information that's shoveled to you is shit,
Yep.
and that's the hard thing for people to realize. Where do you get your information from? Well, 99% of the information we have in our heads is given to us. A lot of people don't appreciate the significance in that statement, right? So when I say off the wall shit, or shit that's off the wall to the average frame of mind, it's only off the wall because they don't fucking think in reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality. Most people do not fucking think, right? People are okay with being lied to. People are okay with being fed misinformation. People are okay as long as they think they don't have to worry about it. And that's when people lose, right? That's when people lose. People lose when people do not want to think. Never fails.
Yeah. That's literally it. Like if you just follow without thinking, you're gonna get wrecked.
100%. 100%, man. I mean, yo, look at how Hex works, right? Hex
Uh-huh.
Hex is so good that it literally forces you not to wreck yourself.
Yeah,
How crazy is
basically.
that? Yeah, right. And you only understand that if you've been wrecked,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, for sure. I wouldn't understand it if I wasn't wrecked in 2017.
That's
My
right.
my brother actually sent me a message and he said, "Dude, I'm so happy that you took all the hits learning your lessons in 2017 because I just teach the people now that are on board and they don't have to go through all that shit. But and then they get protected by the system because if they wouldn't be protected by the system, they would have sold right now, probably."
100%, bro. Everybody sells at the lows. Everybody, right? Everybody typically sells at the lows because that is when you
Yep.
feel the most pain, right? And we'll get to this in the future. Mr. Competition Completion Fails. Nice name, by the way. Uh, but it's one of those things where how do you realize that you don't know anything? And it's by losing, right? That's how you realize you don't know anything, honestly. And
Hmm.
shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. I appreciate you guys always coming to listen to me here talk my nonsense, because I know some people don't like the tough talk, but you got to understand the world doesn't give a fuck. The world keeps turning, whether you like what I'm saying or not, or how I'm saying it, better yet, because guess what? The world just doesn't give a fuck.
It's also amazing how some people just will not take any information from you if they don't like you, like that.
or
They
like
just
how you relay it or whatever.
yeah, like are you retarded? It's
Yeah,
about the
some people
information.
are,
It's
bro.
not about the fucking person.
Some people
It's
are, bro. I
insane, right?
literally just saw somebody on Twitter make the same ignorant comment. They don't
Yeah.
get it, and they're gonna be the ones that are, eventually wreck themselves, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Because hopefully they know better. Because my message isn't to people that know better. It's not. If you know better, you don't need to listen to me. Clearly, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's very straightforward. So I don't know. What do you think? Right? I mean, this isn't for whoever doesn't need it, right? This is for those that do need it. So I don't know. It's kind of straight up to me.
And it's funny as well. Like we're talking about hacks, but we're also talking about life and just things that
100%.
we went through. And it's funny that most people that are successful in life, whether it's financial or other stuff, um, they all agree on the same shit because it just works. Like the people that get it, and the people that don't just really
Don't.
need to listen again and again and again because it can be quite hard to understand if you're not there because uh, it's kind of counterintuitive
Yeah, it
at the
is.
beginning, at least. And because if it wasn't counterintuitive, everyone would be doing it. So yeah,
No, it
but it,
definitely is. I do not disagree with that. Because I know for me, when I finally figured out like how to talk to people uh, to the point where they would listen, right, when it's in their best interest, because it's not even about being persuasive, right? Being persuasive is a tricky thing. People think being persuasive is just being a good convincer, and that's wrong. Being persuasive is helping people see how it works for them.
Yeah.
It's not about you,
It's
actually.
also a result. It's not an action.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean. It's about how it works for them,
Yeah.
right? Think about the person that, imagine, right? You're walking around selling something that everybody wants, right? How do you actually need to sell something that everybody wants? You actually don't, right? You just need to help that person that you're trying to sell understand what they already understand, only through you,
Mm-hmm.
which is hard because now you're trying to break into somebody's mind, right? And try to get them to see your point of view, which is literally their point of view. But because you talk differently, you're not them. They're not seeing it that way. They're looking at you like you're a little crazy. This guy's trying to sell me on something, this and that, trying to take advantage of me. You know what I mean? Um,
The,
it's not. Go ahead, go ahead.
oh, yeah, it's just funny when the moment stopped trying to sell people shit, that was the moment I started to sell insane amounts of numbers.
Exactly. Ain't that funny?
Because I just would knock on people's door, and then all of a sudden I would get invited to drink some coffee with them, and all of a sudden I'm in their living room drinking coffee and just talking about what I'm selling, and then people say, "Well, let's do it."
That's
I
it.
wasn't I'm not even trying at some point, and it just works because
But
exactly what you say. You just explain to people why it's better, and then
that's it.
it's better.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. What lies are being shared? None. Right? People can tell when you're being full of shit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's hard uh to pick, right? What's real, what's not. I mean, it's one thing when it's being given to you on TV. It's another thing when people are in your face, right?
Hmm.
And I think that that's the biggest thing. Like this is why a home shopping network channel is so such good business, because you're not really selling to one individual person. You're
Selling is
selling
easy on camera, man. It's
exactly,
man.
right. I
And so
mean,
if you take that back to teaching people about hex, it's not even about selling them on hex. It's just teaching them about hex. Just tell them what's happening for you, and if you explain it the right way, the natural decision of someone else will be like either, nah, it's fine, I don't care about money, or I'm gonna buy some
there you go.
because it's just the system. It's not even a selling pitch. It's just this is a system and it pays you. Do you want to get paid? Yes. All right. Well, apply. That's it. Pretty easy.
Yeah, it's super easy. I mean, look at this message on the screen, right?
Right.
This is how easy it can't be sometimes, right? And this is why people need to understand the significance of your analytical prowess and whether you actually have any or not. Because everybody isn't good at analyzing everything. I, for one, would suck at betting on UFC. I don't know shit about it. I don't know anything about it. So I would never, I'd be foolish to put money on it, even if somebody else told me because they know or they don't know or whatever, right? But look, even those that don't know, right? Let me just read this from Firecracker. Last night, folks had a lot of money on Amanda Nunes, the UFC female GOAT, at minus 1,000, which is you have to lay down 100 in order to get whatever return is being offered. And she lost, killing a ton of parlays. Now, a parlay is when you're laying down multiple bets and hoping to hit each of those bets. Now, if you hit each one, right, your return is going to be crazy because the odds of hitting a parlay are pretty minimal. And that's why those bets are made. But just look at that, right? This was a so called layup. And even though it wasn't, it was in people's minds, it really wasn't, right? And this is the whole notion of taking risk and how it's so binary, right? Like, even if we have a back tested system and all this nonsense that Wall Street likes to espouse as being good for the projection of a fund's return, right? No matter what you have as far as laid out in terms of a risk strategy. The reality is that the market doesn't give a fuck. The market is always going to do what it wants to, right? And I mean, Hex is showing us this, right? I, for one, did not foresee a day where people were going to just get rid of all their Hex. I mean, it's crazy. Why would you get rid of the best thing on the planet? Fuck if I know, but people are doing it. And that's it. There's no reason to question it. That's just what it is, right? That's literally just what it is. So, what do you do, right, when you finally see, uh, yeah, bro, I already know it's all good. They just wanted me on cameras, so I did what I could for the team. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to be a team player. But this is why you got to understand the importance of taking risk and the significance of what it is you're actually doing, right? When you're laying capital on the line, or hell, just even getting out of bed, because even getting out of bed every day is a risk, right? And
Yeah,
people
that's
don't
why I
want to.
never get out of bed.
There you go.
It's scary out there, man.
It is, right? I mean, there are people that literally get out of bed and die. Like, that's a real risk,
Hmm.
right? So people got to understand that that shit is not a joke. And we'll get to that later, brother. We'll get you. Uh,
Charts incoming.
the charts incoming. They're ready. Just we getting to we getting to it. We getting to it.
Are you
Um,
working on charts right now?
no, they're done. I
No.
updated them yesterday, so
Oh
they're
yeah.
all good.
No, that's
Yeah, they're
enough,
all
man.
good. They're all good. I just got to get to them. But we're just having a pretty solid conversation that's going to
Yeah.
take us to the importance of these charts and why understanding them is so key. Because I mean, here you can make an investment in anything, right? That doesn't mean you can ascertain exactly what is going on behind the scenes with that investment. And Hex happens to be one of the few things on the planet, if not the only thing that I've seen, where there is literally full transparency to the point that you can determine what's happening in the system. You can't see that in Bitcoin.
I have never seen what's happening in X ever.
Well, that's because I'm telling you,
Haven't even heard of it.
you're lying
Something
now.
like it.
You mean Bitcoin or Hex, bro?
No, I haven't heard of anything else. Anything that's like Hex, like as transparent and as
Ah, got you,
good of a
got you, got you.
system.
Yeah, yep, nope,
Like
not at all.
I've never heard of something even coming close. No, I don't
Uh-oh.
have the extensive knowledge that you do. But
No. But that's my point. I've not seen it, so
no, then I don't.
yeah, it's
I
not
haven't
out there,
either.
bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not out there. Like if you look at any stock, right, it's damn near impossible to find out where all the shares are, or at least the count for the shares, right? You got your floating count, you got your total count. I mean, you got all these different counts, and most people don't even know,
Hmm.
right? And that's the thing. People like to pretend like they know, but they don't, and that's important because where do we get our information from? Well, again, a lot of the things are given to us, right? We don't actually know anything. And that's important that we understand that because what else is there if not understanding, right? We fail when we don't understand.
Hmm.
Yeah, somebody mentioned this earlier. So earlier, somebody in the chat mentioned that 10.3 million USD that was just staked for
10
10
days.
days. Yeah, so just so you guys know, that was 3,661.4 T shares. Sounds like a lot, but man, that's $10 million, and they only got 3,000 T-shirts. I know people with more T-shirts than that.
And every time they do this, 10 days, I think they lose about 30 t-shirts or something like that.
Yep,
That's a lot.
because
That's a shit ton of money that they're leaving on the table.
on the table. Yep, every time. Short stakers always lose.
I mean, you can calculate that of just let's say he loses 30 t-shirts and he does another 10 days. You basically have whoa, my computer's slow. Damn.
You probably got a whole lot going on over
Yeah. I just brought up a calculator and it took a while before it loaded. Nice. But
Crazy,
like
bro.
yeah, let's put like 30 times 5.8 hex per t-shirt and you times it by 10, right?
Hmm.
So you lose about 1740 hex
Oof, that's tough, man.
every time they do it.
That's tough, man. Jesus, that is so tough.
That's
I
funny.
mean, yo, think about it. Here is this instrument that gives you all this optionality, right? All this optionality from 1 day to 5,555 days. Now, where else can you find that? Where you determine that, not some centralized
Hmm.
issuer, right? You determine that. I mean, that's powerful, bro. That's never existed before, right? And people don't really get that. So for this, I mean, look, this is literally and we're gonna get to this because this is probably gonna be the best thing to start the stream with. Actually, it's the first chart that I show is just how much
Right.
selling in hex we've seen. And it's not even one of my own charts. We're just gonna look at the straight V2 data points just so you guys can see.
Yep.
Because man, where else are you gonna find this much selling, right? And the best asset on the planet, like nowhere,
Mm.
right? I mean, where are you gonna find something this good that gives you what you want, how you want it? Nowhere, right? Nowhere. Um, think about it. You get to pick your time frame. You get to pick how much you put down, right? You don't even get that option with a regular CD. You got to put X amount of dollars just to receive X amount of yield.
You can even pick what front end.
You can pick anything, right? I mean, it's crazy. Because there's been nothing ever like this. Um, yeah, we'll talk about that because this is going to be part of the conversation. And I kind of had this, I kind of touched on this a little bit with my macro talk with Jay. If you guys haven't seen it, check that out. I did that on Discourse
Yeah, that
Syndicates.
was nice, man.
Yeah, that was a good change of
I
pace.
like it.
Yeah, because it really helps give people a broader understanding at a low level, right? Because it's not about like what I was trying to do is just show everybody how everybody's getting robbed.
Yeah.
That was the original intent behind all my macro streams, and I think I accomplished that.
Hmm.
So now it's just about getting people to understand the bare bone basics of what's actually going on out there and how it's actually going to affect how you live, right? What you see on TV, all these things, right? Because it's just true. I mean,
Yep.
literally the day after we streamed that, we were telling people how all these insiders were selling their stock, right?
Hmm.
And next day, you see a link from Zero Head saying exactly that. Not a coincidence, bro. Because once you understand the market, nobody can tell you how it fucking operates. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Nobody can tell you. And this is why it's about learning. It's not about anything else, right? It's about learning, right? Where else are you going to find this level of information that's going to put you ahead of most people on Wall Street?
It's
Nowhere.
really cool as well. The people that I onboard on Hex, they get the first few months they don't really care. Like me,
Hmm.
I don't understand stuff, and I just keep on sending them links, and they don't really watch. But then slowly they start to understand. Oh wait, what is this? And then we're getting so many people right now that are just now learning about how fucked this world is and how good Hex is.
Yep.
It's insane, man. And through these streams, we can actually help people understand that. It's a beautiful thing, man. People
Yeah.
actually start to listen nowadays. It's slowly, but like slowly you get more and more people, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? Because this is a great comment from Dan Hilatek. Thanks, brother, for the $20 super chat. Don't stop until you have multiple streams of income. Hex is one of those, right? 7 multiple streams of income is ideal. 24/7 massive action until the 7th multiple stream. I
Mm.
mean, if you got 7 stakes, you're covered, right? Now, let me stop. That's not what he means.
Seven stakes and you're good.
Right. That's not what he means. So don't take me the wrong way. I'm just fucking around. But you guys get the point, right? Keep grinding until you reach your goal, right? It's so easy to think that a job is a way out, or one investment is a
Lol.
way out, or whatever the case is, and it's not. You got to really, really do your due diligence, right? You got to really keep pushing the envelope until you find the way out for yourself, right? I mean, it's about what you want for you, right? And the cool thing about my streams, or at least I think, is that I don't talk about one specific thing. I talk about things in generalities, right? And this is why no matter what we're talking about, it's always a good damn stream. Because if you take that information and apply it to real life, you can't lose. You can't. You lose if you want to,
Yeah.
right? And I used to lose all the time because I wanted to lose, right? And shout out to my boy Yozo. Thank you, man. Appreciate the comment, brother. Um, but you know, this is what it is, right? And this is a good comment by Steve that he wished he got in last April when he first saw Hex from Dollar Cost Crypto stream, but he was too ignorant, and that's okay. But now you know, right? And what's gonna happen is that the next time you see something, right? They're coming, baby. They're coming. The next time you see something, um, you're gonna act on it. You're not gonna wait. That's why it was so easy for me to buy Hex within 30 minutes after finding it. And shout out to you, Lifestyle brother. Appreciate you, man. Um, 30 minutes, bro. It took me to figure out Hex was something I had to buy. Because what? I had missed Bitcoin. I had missed ETH. I had missed all these things that I saw as I was trying to trade my way nowhere fast. Right? Because trading is cool and all, but if you're not consistently making money, nobody gives a fuck that you trade, bro. Nobody gives a fuck that you're a trader. Nobody gives a fuck that you think you're good. Nobody gives a fuck about anything. What matters is that number in your bank account. That's what the fuck matters at the end of the day. And the quicker you realize that, the better of a capital allocator you become. I don't even call myself a fucking trader. Shit is irrelevant, right? What matters is the money that you bring home and you fucking keep. That's what matters, right? So for all of you that think you're traders out there, good luck. Because you actually ain't shit until you learn to make money and keep it and do nothing else. Because trading is easy. Keeping your money is not. Now, if you think a term defines what you are and who you are, well, you're always going to be a loser, right? That's a fact. Because that's exactly what you're doing. You're labeling yourself. You're putting yourself in a box. You already lost. Think about it, right? Thanks, brother. But that's what it is, right? And yes, we'll be talking about Pulse Chain. Don't worry. Will you take your PLS gains and put them on the X or portion? Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's a personal thing, bro. That's a personal thing. Whatever you decide to do with it is what you want to do with it. Nobody can tell you to do what to do with your gains. People can only share their strategy.
Yeah, just learn
Um,
about a system and then apply it for yourself.
yeah. Because that thing is something to do, right? Learning is literally the best skill you can have. And Kareem says this all the time. The best skill you can have is being able to learn. Right. If you can't learn, thanks
Yep.
for the $5 super chat, laughing man. Appreciate it. And shout out to Boston. Um, you're gonna get left, man. And this
And
is where
it
we're at.
and it is an actual skill learning.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Like
It's the
once you
most
get good
important
at
skill.
it, you're on top of the world, man. You can just learn something within a week, and you're
Good.
like, if you can outperform people in learning, you're good.
Yep. That's a fact. I mean, think about it. Look at you. When you first started, you weren't doing the things you're doing now.
Nah.
Not even close. Right. And that's the whole point. Right. Um, how do you get from something to nothing? You know, how do you get from something to nothing? It's by taking action. It's not by praying and hoping. Hope is not a strategy, guys, and a lot of motherfuckers like to hope.
Yep.
That shit is not a strategy. So do yourself the favor, right?
I wish it was, man.
Yeah. Oh shit. If it was, trust me, I would have been a billionaire years ago, right? Because I made so many good trades in my mind that just
Mm.
did not work out. But the question is why? Why did they not work out? And that's why I freaking got wrecked, because I wasn't understanding the big picture, right? And that's why, yeah, this is a fact, man. Actually, and this is actually what I just said. Yeah, I didn't understand the big picture, right? And Eagle Owl says, to fully appreciate Hex, you have to fully understand macro and crypto. How many do? Alpha, we are still early. Fact.
Yeah,
Fact.
no one does.
I mean, let's take into account the fact that the whole space think it is a cryptocurrency and it's not.
Yeah, that shit is funny as fuck, man.
It's super fucking funny. It's super fucking funny. And then let's take into account the fact that Hex is even better than anything that could ever be crypto, because it does something better,
Hmm.
right? It does something even better. And shout out to you, Finbert. Thank you, brother. And thank you for the $10 Canadian super chat, Cajun Hex Star.
Nah,
Appreciate
that's
that,
fake
man.
money, man.
All right.
That's not.
I
That's
said
not
10
real.
Canadian dollars. What's wrong with me? $10, man. Sorry, I don't know why I got Canadian dollars in my mind.
Oh, never mind. That's real money. That's
Yeah, all right.
oh,
Shout out to Lafayette, man.
Canadian
But
is from Sir Edwards. The next one.
that's what it
You
must have
get
been. I
another one.
saw. That's weird. Damn, the guys are blessing me with these super chats today. Thank you, guys. And this one's a super sticker, which I don't have. Do I have the YouTube up? Let's see. Nope. Pop that bad boy up just so I can see what it looks like. But
And
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I just know you're getting these super chats because I'm here.
No, clearly, bro. I don't ever
Yeah.
get super chats unless you're here, man.
I never get anything of those super chats, guys.
Yeah,
Wills
I
is
cut him
drugging
out,
me.
man. I cut him out. He don't get nothing. He gets
Funny
nothing.
shit.
None of those super chats go to Markable. They all come to me and Google. The Google gets
And
40%.
Google.
Then I. Oh man, it's so ridiculous, yo. Oh my god. Anyways,
40% is fucking.
yeah. Imagine if you had to live off of that. That's fucking insane.
Mm.
Talking about getting taxed before you even get taxed, huh?
Oh yeah, damn.
You can't even win, bro. You can't win that battle. Oh, fuck.
You have to put up those cock in mouth.
Memes.
You know the thumbnails, right? You've seen the video from Tangent, right?
Yeah.
That I
No.
made.
Oh yeah. I seen that. I seen that. Yeah. Of course. I thought you meant something new. Yeah. Of course, I seen that. Yeah.
It was funny ass video, man.
Yeah, bro. It's funny because it's true, right? Like them cats stay making these funny faces, and I don't know why that shit is popular, bro. Like I
Dude,
don't.
there is a reason why that's such a like that face is the most popular uh, for the algorithm. 100%, because everyone's fucking sexualized and frustrated and shit, and they like people seeing pictures with their mouth open and excitement and shit. This world is fucked up, man.
Well, I won't disagree with that. Shout
When
out to
you,
you, D Hawks. Hope you're doing well, brother.
what's up, man?
But yeah, it's crazy out there, man. It
I
is
don't think it's a
fucking.
coincidence that shit is ranking high on the
No,
fucking.
I think that's what they want people to see, right?
It's fucking sick, man. Yeah, like that's the kind of stuff that children look at.
Yeah. I mean,
YouTube influencers, and they're
yeah.
like, go watch a YouTube influencer that has kids as their main audience. That shit is fucked up.
Well, I think what's fucked up is the fact that we know these people are out here taking money to shill shit, right? And what bothers me the most is when I see Hexicans trying to get their attention. Like, yo, you missed that like PDF or that Excel spreadsheet that was going
Yeah,
around with
you
all this
still
data.
don't understand what they're doing. Yeah,
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
weird. It's really weird.
like,
Like you already
like
know they have a bag because if they don't, they're
they're
really idiots.
stupid. Yeah, they're real stupid, right? It yeah, probably depends how high you are in the turtle
Hey Tyler,
ranking.
that's a cool picture, man. I like that dog. Cool dog.
But
Cooler than Huddle Dog. Nah, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, Huddle Dog. I'm sorry. That's me.
Now he's gonna ban you. Oh man, I mean it's crazy, right? Because you know this is a good statement. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride, right? Think about that, right?
That's a good one.
That's a good one, right? Because everybody wants a free ride, bro. Everybody wants a free ride, right? Why? Why does everybody just not want to put in any effort? I mean, it doesn't work, number one. So why you out here trying to wreck yourself, right? Super chat equals one over every F bomb. That was funny. That was funny. Yeah, I just got another one. This is crazy. Guess I should curse more.
Guess so.
Oh man. Or course curse less. Um, but yeah, it's funny because life is so easy when you put in a little bit of effort, right? When you
Oh
actually
yeah, man.
think a little bit, you actually do things with intention. Life goes so so hard for you,
Well,
right?
when I was at that turning point, I really saw it as a well, I still see it like a spiral, where you spiral up or you spiral down, and
Hmm.
the more you spiral down negatively, like the harder it gets to reverse the momentum because the spiral keeps getting bigger, and so it
Yeah.
takes more effort to go up again. But once you're above that threshold of neutral, theoretically, like then it becomes easy as shit. You don't even try at some point. You just always go up in value, like your life. It just always goes up, and it's
Yes.
that was a really big thing for me when I had that in my mind, because my life wasn't really that good. I was overweight and I didn't really understand things, and it was just I was just in a weird place and very negative. And then once I understood, oh wait, this is all just a concept, and I just have to say a little bit more yes than no's
Yep.
from now on. Like, and not even 100% go for it right away. Just take your time. Like
Hmm.
the spiral is there, the momentum's there. If you just say six times more, uh, if you say six times yes and four times no out of the 10 times, then you're good.
Well,
And then at some
interestingly
point, it
enough,
just becomes easy.
yeah, but that's the funny thing. Interestingly enough, I learned that lesson, right? And this is why I ended up damn near on every stream in the Hex community because I always say yes. I never turn anybody down. All
Hmm.
they got to do is ask. I'm not going to interject myself in anything, right? So it's kind of funny because people like to think that, like I remember, well, I would always say, and I still do that all my streams are open and nobody ever really wants to jump on for one reason or another. And that's fine. But at the end of the day, people invite me into their streams and yo, I go, I participate, and I add the value that I'm there to provide, and that's it, right? And that's all it's about, man. Everybody in this community, just like you have your own value to add, has their own value to add, and it's important that they realize that, right? And whether it be online or in real life, that's their value to add, right? And you just got to figure out how to do it. I figured it out. You figured it out. Nobody can tell you how to do it, right? And that's, I think, the most important thing about this. And we got a special guest joining us. Whoa,
uh,
whoa.
Hey guys,
What up, Kinetics? How
Oi.
you doing, man?
I'm living the dream, brother. Living the dream. Running
I
one of my
see it.
many businesses, having to source materials for my contractor here. So
Oh man,
Wait,
on a
you work?
Sunday.
yes, I have no other choice. I got a last minute renter we got to get into place. So I
I
gotta
love
make
this
sure we get it taken
motherfucking
care of.
marketable, bro. Wait, you work? Yo, people really think we're out here just fucking living on fucking private jets and shit. Ain't
Yeah,
that
yeah,
something?
yeah.
I know.
I don't even get those private jets for Wales.
No, sir. We out here grinding, man.
Yes, dude, we're grinding. Here's word of caution for the community. If you got a bunch of W-2 people and independent contractors that are actually run their own business, but are like getting force-fed deals or spoon-fed deals and things from their W-2 employer, those are not the people to listen to on how business and finance works. So please, guys, use your brains. Be careful who you're listening to out there. That's all I'll say on the matter at this moment in time.
Yeah, it's it's funny, right? Everybody has their role to play, right? And
Yeah,
speaking of role, let's highlight this little comment D Big put up here. If I watch the hearings on stable coins, Coinbase, FTX, Pasos, testimonies, and this was the other day. I put the link in on Twitter. This was a 4-hour testimony. I think we talked about it on Thursday on Hex Wake Up, and you guys got to understand that's all theater, right?
yeah,
That's all theater. It sounded positive. It sounded good. It sounded all pro crypto. But look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is getting everything that they can on you digitized. So what are the
yeah,
central banks doing? And I've done streams on this months ago, so I should probably redo them again. But they're trying to get their digital currency on the blockchain, aka that dollar that you get paid in. They're trying to put that shit on the blockchain so that they can control your transactions. They're not trying to do anything
Yep.
positive for you. So don't get that shit twisted, because it's not about you. It never is. So stop getting gassed on bullshit. Because since when is any government entity out here doing anything for you? Let
yep.
me know. I'll wait.
So
And
they're one thing they want to do is they want to get, and they've as much as tipped their hand. That's Wales and I have talked about this before. They don't hide what they're trying to do. So they're going to replace a fiat slave note with a digital slave coin. And what they literally want to do is they want to get rid of the small independent banks, like local community banks, that actually provide real services that people can use. And they're going to go direct from your wallet to a Fed coin. Just watch. They've already talked about this, and being able to reduce and increase the supply of money at any given whim. That means they can give you a haircut at their whim.
Nah.
Sorry,
yeah, that's called a
prosperity.
bail-in. Yeah, that's called a bail-in, boy. That's right.
Yep, yep.
So for those of
And
you out
they
there ready to get on your knees, let me tell you something. Get the fuck off of them, because that's not crypto. And if you don't get the fuck out of here, because you don't belong here. Seriously.
yep. It's
And
true.
that's just
No,
a fact.
it's 100% true. Like the I can't remember her name. Maybe you remember off the top of your head. But the lady that they were talking about trying to get into the cabinet as the new Treasury Secretary, she has much said so. It's going to be
Oh,
really tricky to
the Asian lady.
convince yes, the Asian lady. It's going to be
Yeah.
very tricky. A communist, by the way, who
Yep.
studied in Russia, by the way.
Her
Got
thesis
her.
was on communism and the economy,
Yep,
by
yep.
the way. I can't
She
remember her
she
name,
said it's
but
going to be
I know
really
her name.
interesting to see how a free market adjusts when we do direct banking and we're able to reduce people's bank accounts right at the push of a button. Yeah, that's pretty
What
much
the
telling you they
fuck?
want to legally steal from you.
Correct.
Basically, yeah.
Which they already have the ability to do, but it's hard when they don't have
That's
the
what
direct.
taxes are.
Right. But
That's what taxes are.
they have taxes, they have civil asset forfeiture, they have a lot
Yeah,
of modes, right? They have ways to fine you. They have all of these funky ways to extract value out of your pocket. Well, in the future, they're gonna just take it from you, and they're not even gonna ask. That's what their
yep,
goal is. So that's what all of these hearings are about. Do not get gas thinking that a centralized exchange is doing shit for you. Get the
yep.
motherfuck out of here. Seriously, this is not how it goes, right? You
So,
want everything given to you. It is never going to
yep.
work out that way. Sorry.
No, no. There's trade-offs that getting perceived security in exchange for relinquishing your freedoms never works out for those who relinquish their freedoms. So don't be willing to do so. Don't be
I mean,
willing to just
there's
hand them
even a
over.
quote on that. Who the hell was it that said it? Was it Benjamin Franklin, maybe?
It was
Something to the effect that those that
those
value.
who
Go ahead if you know it. I'm sorry.
those who trade security for freedom for security shall
Deserve it.
not nor will deserve or shall
Yeah,
receive either.
that's right. And thanks for the super chat,
Deserve not
Cassius.
or shall not reserve. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, either way, you're screwed is the whole point, right? And that's the whole gist. And shout out to my boy T Bird. I mean, we're out here
I
trying to
love
do
T
things.
Bird.
Yeah, T Bird is a man. We're out here trying to do things that are beneficial for us,
And
right?
I got
They're
another
out
thing,
here.
guys.
What's up?
Be very careful. Here's some other stuff that I'm hearing. Some bad information from people that claim to be personal finance gurus within our own community. I'm sorry, you may have worked in one portion of finance or another, but don't be telling people that their inflation rewards are capital gains taxed. You are going to get people wrecked.
Oh,
Now,
what the
the
fuck?
caveat to that is yes, and I will not say where that source came from, but there is a caveat to that. If you have a CPA that is stupid enough to sign off on that for audit protection and use their E&O insurance to pay your taxes that you actually own, then that's great that you have that in place. But then again, are they really the CPA that you should be using? If they're a moron in that regard, are they really someone you should be using? So just want to throw that out there. So whoever CPA is telling them that inflation rewards are taxed to capital gains, you better think twice, or at least if they're willing to take the liability, go ahead and let the liability lie on their shoulders.
Correct. Do not take that bullet if you don't have to. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. All right. So hey, man, look, I understand there's a lot of things I don't talk about, guys, and taxes is one of them. But I'm gonna tell you one thing about taxes that I've said before. Cryptocurrency is not taxable. There's a reason they're trying to interject themselves into the system. Stop believing what you are hearing and read the motherfucking books. Read the IRS code. Read. Stop listening and read. What other people say literally does not matter if your ass is not reading because you don't fucking know. Right? And that's the biggest catch that we have with this whole crypto space. If it's not on paper, yo, it doesn't matter what the fuck they say. Period. End of story. That's all. So stop lying to yourselves and stop believing people that don't actually know anything. If they knew anything, they'd be streaming about it and educating you, but they're not. They're giving you half-ass information upon which you know they don't know because they don't have a damn track record of information as I do, or as Kinetics does, or that anybody else that streams, right? Where we share valid information week over week. So take that into account. I think we're having a little problem with Kinetics.
I'm very careful.
Yeah, but we have to be, right?
Am I there again? Sorry.
No, you're good now. You're good now. But that's the whole thing, right? Yeah. We are careful because we know we have to be, right? We speak in generalities. We're not out here telling people what to do. We're out here telling people what to look for. Yep. And if you're not reading Title 26,
educate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you're not reading Title 26, which most of you probably don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, because again, you don't fucking read, right? You think you know, but you don't know shit, right? And this is the problem. Is stop thinking. Go seek the information because it's out there. I mean, I'm literally looking for a link right now just to fucking put it in there because I can't. You know, I just can't. You know, I'm tired of people thinking that they know shit that they don't fucking know.
Yeah.
You know, there's too many motherfuckers out there talking shit when they don't even know dick, let alone shit. I mean, it's just crazy, man.
That's a quotable
that's a solid quote, man.
I mean, it's just one of those things, man, where it's like, you know,
I'm actually gonna clip that.
I mean, how much more information do you need in order to understand that you are lost, right? Because the more you learn, the more you realize you know nothing. And what I'm dropping right now in the chat is literally a link to 26 U.S. Code Title 26, which is the Internal Revenue Code. Now, if you have not read this shit, then your ass should not be fucking talking about taxes, period, end of discussion. You shouldn't be talking about anything because you don't fucking know shit. Now, go read and then talk. And let us know. Because, again, it's not about talking shit or being demeaning. Thing. Go ahead, Kinetics.
I was just gonna say that's another thing. You know, I have no interest in running for politics, but we have to be on the forefront of, you know, lobbying and creating these blockchain PACs, these political action committees, because we need to drive the narrative. There's nothing on the books that covers digital assets. People have looked at them as commodities, personal property. Now they're trying to tax them like it's an actual income, even though that technically isn't right. So we need to be, as Hexicans, we need to be on that forefront, driving that narrative and not sitting back and waiting for them to create the narrative.
100%. 100%. I mean, who the hell here is a politician? I don't know. I'm not.
I know. I would never make it because I'm going to say a lot of things that aren't political or politically
I don't give a fuck about being PC. That shit is for homeowners. That's not for me. What the fuck I look like? The fuck I look like. It's one thing to get involved. It's another thing to be a parrot or a puppet,
Mhm.
right? And this is the thing that people don't want to understand, right? We're not here to be anybody's parrot or puppet. We're here to drive shit forward, right? And this is the difference between Hexicans and the rest of the space. The rest of the space has sat on their laurels for 13 years. Who's waiting on them? Not Hexicans. At least not the cool
Mhm.
ones that get what the fuck is going on,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. They're out here literally pissing in the wind, waiting on some institutional investors to come and push
Mhm.
Bitcoin up to 1 million. That's what people are doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Same thing for ETH. Same thing for ETH. It's no different. Same
Mhm.
thing for Ethereum. That's what they are doing. They are literally praying the middleman comes and saves them. That's where we
Mhm.
are at in the promise coin space, right? So where are we going with that frame of thinking? Nowhere fast. That's where the hell we're going, right? I mean,
Don't even don't listen to the dissenting voices, even within our own community.
oh yeah.
The
If
people,
I'm not
and it's
saying it,
always funny, the people that aren't actually that are creating like almost little to almost no value within our community are the biggest naysayers, which is funny to me because it's like, all right, actually do something useful for the community, and then we'll talk once you've done something. You know, making a
correct.
video or here or there. That's there's not a lot of value in a one-time video. You know, so um, all you naysayers out there, stop leading Hexicans astray because you honestly don't know what you're talking about, and in the end, you're going to come out as the dumbass that gets left behind.
Never fails, man. Never fails. I mean, it's. I
Mm-hmm.
was actually
Now I
saying
just
this
got
the
one.
other day. Yeah, yeah. Well, I was saying this the other day, and it's very simple. A lot of people like to talk, but nobody likes to take action. And everybody that streams, they literally put themselves on the line every time they say something publicly because they will be held accountable for that. Look at all of the
Mm-hmm.
fools that have to go back and delete tweets, delete streams, delete all kinds of shit. Not a single Hexican has had to gone. That's a consistent streamer. Not a single one of us has ever had to go back and do that.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? That's a
Yeah, there's a
question.
reason for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're a viewer, ask yourself, what's the difference here? Why? Why don't these guys ever have to go back and delete anything? And then these other guys that get paid to talk to you do. We don't get paid to talk to you at
Yeah.
all. We get paid by our
Yeah.
own merits,
So
right?
Wales does get a little bit of super.
I'll go into
I don't.
yeah.
I don't get
There,
paid.
there you go. There you go.
This guy.
So I'll go into more detail. I got a whole rant I want to do on Tuesday, but in the meantime, I'll just leave you guys with this. We have never been enriched by the Hexican community. Me, RG, DS as a brand, we have never made any money off this. Every dollar that's ever come into this company, we have put into trying to hire new Hexicans with skill sets that we need, that we see to scale. Like to the tune of it,
Well, you do.
100K plus. 100K plus has been literally come out of our pocket to serve this community. And then we have people that have the goal to come out and say, well, you
Well,
won't do anything unless there's profit in it.
profit
Well, yeah,
motive, right?
because I have to hire
That's
people, and
that.
these people need paid. I'm sorry, that's how business works. Richard wasn't unapologetic for the millions that he made. You can't do marketing efforts without this money. I'm sorry.
Dude,
There's no
and
way that you can get a big vision. You can get you can get a lot of eyeballs on your project and have a real marketing campaign and scale your business and be relevant unless you've got funds to make that happen. So all the haters out there that and then so there's a lot of people that get upset that we won't get involved with some of their projects. Well, I'm sorry, we're not willing to get go. Depending on who's starting it, it's going to fail. I don't want to be part of something fail. That's a bad look for the community. We can see it from the out of the gate. These people have never started a business and know the first thing about running a business. And then they get mad at us because we won't get involved. I'm sorry. It's just a bad look for us to get involved. We've got great things on the horizon, right, Wales? We don't need to,
That's
we
right.
don't, even the good things we don't want getting in the way of the best things. But bad things, we definitely have to take a back seat to because we don't want anything to do with that. It's going to hurt the whole Hex community as a whole. So if you guys are upset that we're not getting involved in certain things, there's a strategic reason behind it, and it's to pump your guys' bags going forward. So
also, if anyone told Kinetics he's doing stuff for only for profits, go fuck yourself. He literally just
Literally.
paid. He literally just paid me and a business partner of mine to set up a live stream to get you a free live stream of a fucking event that is paid for.
we didn't even
Like what?
we didn't have money in the DS account after paying our employees this month. So I literally came out of pocket to make sure that Markable could bring quality talent and quality equipment, and they killed it on that live stream, and it was worth every dollar for you Hexicans.
Well, let's talk about the simple fact that this documentary wouldn't even be happening if it wouldn't be for you and RG. I think people forget that, right? Because that didn't come out of thin air, right? Like, that didn't come out of thin air, guys. So let's not forget that. Understand that the people that are involved at what you would consider the forefront of the community, they've just been here the longest, and we're just trying to take care of what everybody ultimately wants, right? And everybody ultimately wants their bags pumped. I know I do. So, not sure what the fuck you're talking about, but if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you should probably shut the fuck up before you get shut the fuck up.
I know, and it's okay. It's okay because
you should consider.
we'll be at the forefront when it all shakes out, and it's not. Yes, it's pumping our own bags. So there's a little bit of a selfish motive there because we all want our bags pumped.
But everybody wants their bags pumped, do they not?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure everybody does. So we're just giving them the shortcut, and some motherfuckers are just ungrateful little bitches, and there's nothing we can do about that.
Well, I talked to Randy's brother, Hillartech. I talked to him about this last night, and he said they don't have the skill set, and they've got all the jealousy and the motive to be jealous. That's the only reason that you're getting this hate. And I said, well, I really appreciate it, and that's how you know you're doing something right. Is when you start getting hate, it's because you're doing something, and that's okay with me. I'm okay with that because I love you guys. You guys have been solid as a rock, and I mean everyone in the chats too. Everyone that watches Whales, the guys that watch DS, you guys have been so supportive. This doesn't happen without you guys. Thank you guys so much for being the community that you are.
That's right. I mean, we got 260 people watching right now, right? They don't have to be watching. They could literally be doing anything else. And if you don't like what's being said, you can easily click on something else. You're more than motherfucking welcome, right? Because this is a free fucking world where you can do whatever you fucking want, right?
Check the comments from the Sapper. I'm self-employed and my boss is a slave driver.
Trust me, I know that feeling. Trust me, I know that feeling.
That's right. Yeah, I work every day, all day, damn near.
It's the biggest jerk boss I've ever had, being self-employed. That's for sure.
That's right.
But it's one thing, like, and I know I'm kind of salty sometimes with responses and just not being willing to waver, but it's my experiences I've had. It's the times I've failed and my experiences that allow me to know when something's a winner and something's a loser. And I'm just not willing to waste my time on the losers any longer because I know what's going to be successful right from the gate, out of the gate. So there's a reason that I choose to work on the stuff that we have moved forward with.
Right. I mean, it's.
And I'm salty, and I'm sorry if that makes you guys upset. That I'm just not willing to waver on it. That's all.
Well, I think it's important to understand that when a person has a conviction and they can speak about something intelligently and with some logic and give you some facts to back it up and show you, right? Because that's what we do here. We don't just talk, we show, right? And that's the most important thing that people have to understand, right? Everybody else, they're just talking, right? We're actually showing, right? And that's the difference between Hexicans and everybody else.
Yep.
We don't need to go back and delete a motherfucking thing ever. Not a tweet, not a stream.
You know what meant more to me than anything is the time one-on-one I got with Richard. And you're always going to have those haters when you're doing something, but every single thing that we are creating with all of these trust products, every one of them, from MCA to the publicly traded trust, he is our biggest fan and the biggest supporter of. So all of you wrecked plebs out there that think that you could do better than us, you know what? You can go take it up with Richard because he's in support of what we're doing.
Good luck. And to answer this, we are not running a validator node, no, but we do have a community validator, which we all know is Mr. David Feeder. Wish I had him on stream now so he can enlighten us as to the latest updates. So that's kind of my fault. But we'll get him on here next time. But there will be a community node that we know will be functioning, and David Feeder will be the admin for that node, and he's super hype about it. And that's where I know I'll be delegating my stake to. So
me too. And in fact, David came out and said, I want to be a validator so bad. So I reached out to him and I said, I got a guy that's got an SOC2 compliant data center. Let me put you in touch with him. We created our own room and they're working together. So he's got the equipment, he's got the logins, and David's the one that's doing all of the running and the validating on the test net. So I'm glad I got those two put together. And I've just stepped aside because I don't speak nerd speak, so I don't understand what they're talking about.
Right.
I do know I do know that's where I'm delegating my proof of stake. I tell you that much right now.
100%.
David has done more research on this than I ever would have imagined he would do, honestly.
Yeah, look, I don't know enough, bro. I just know that's where my shit's going. That's it. I know some of the stuff, but I'm not David Feeder. I'm not even gonna pretend to be. So again, I leave these types of things to the pro. Maybe HEX.LIVE, if he's in the chat, maybe he'll want to jump on and talk about it. I know he knows a little bit about that stuff more than me. And shout out to Rena KCID on this one, kid. I guess you have deleted a tweet mentioning MetaMask because the fraudster's a trap. And yo, those are the only tweets that I delete. If I ever if I ever fuck up and type MetaMask, which I never do, I delete that shit ASAP.
The only stream we ever took down was we had a lady come on who is an assistant for a tax attorney in Puerto Rico. She came on to explain the benefits of Act 60. And then after the stream said, wait, you're going to put this on the internet? We're like, what did you think a live stream was? So she asked us to take it down. That's the only one we've ever taken down.
Yo, that's funny. But that just goes to show the seriousness of what we're doing nowadays, right? You can't just come on screen, on anything, on any public forum and just say these kinds of things. And people don't understand that. And that's why I will never speak about taxes in specific. I will tell you what's true and what's not in a general sense, but your own specific tax situation is unique to you, and nobody can tell you anything from that perspective. And this is why that couldn't even be posted. And it was just her speaking in general terms about some act, right? But because of the information she was sharing, she couldn't have it, right? And that's important. Understand the significance and the importance behind that. I mean, imagine, right, if that would have been left on there and all of a sudden that lady gets hemmed up, regulators come in and fuck her whole world up and she could no longer conduct her practice or business, right? Where does she go from there? Nowhere. And this is what people don't want to think about, right? It's not about you all of the time. Stop being so selfish. Understand the bigger picture, educate yourself, right? Because that's what's going on here. You got to educate yourself. You really, really have to. Because where else do you go to do it, right? I mean, YouTube is literally the best source of information, hands down, right? Guys, give me a second. I'm in a hotel. Give me a second.
Instead of police cars, now he has babies. And Kinetics froze. Well, welcome to the Beard Show.
Give me a second, today, guys.
We're gonna
out of control with this
today
kid,
we are going to talk about how to trim your beard properly, so you don't get wrecked and end up with a half-shaven face.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Oh, you're back? Okay.
Yeah, I'm back now. I finally.
Today we have Wills Only as a guest.
Hey, me too.
Right on time.
He's back. Okay, all right. Welcome back.
Right on time. But these are important things that people need to understand, right? Like, baby police coming from
nice.
Love it. Hey, I'm gonna get going, guys. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Gotta go take these supplies to. Yes.
Check your DM in about an hour.
Yep. Will do, brother.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best community. We'll talk to you guys soon.
See you
Later,
later,
brother.
man.
Be easy, man. Yeah, thanks for the super sticker, brother. Appreciate that.
Hexagonal domino shrimps only one. The the best beard oil is I don't know, but I do like coconut oil.
There
Really
you go.
plain and simple, but it gets the job done, and it smells nice like
Sure
coconut.
does. Sure does. Yeah, it is one of the best oils out there. I will agree for multiple reasons, right? Or multiple uses. You can
Oh
use it
yeah,
for multiple uses. Yeah, I mean, you gotta go, right? And then here's the thing, right? This is a great comment by Blazer. Shout out to you, madam. Hope you're doing well. Secondary sources all over the place, right? The question is, what good are they? I think if you've learned anything about the world by now, is that secondary sources are useless, right? And this is what you get when you're talking to a so-called, or this is what you get when a so-called expert is speaking to you on TV, right? You get that secondary information, the BS that they want to actually give you, not the shit that you actually want.
it's not even secondary. It's like tertiary or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's really a whole lot lower than that, but for
Yeah.
sure, right? Hey, what's up, Colin, man? Hope you're doing well, brother, and good luck on your auditions, man. This is a young man that's out there trying to get it done, and take note because this is exactly how shit's done, right? When you don't know, you got to go out there and figure it out. And Kyler is a young man that shows me that that's what he's doing, right? Because you can't just sit out here and pretend to think that people are just going to come and give you whatever you want. Not how it goes, right? Just not how it goes. You got to go out there and get it, right? Got to go out there and get it because it ain't coming to you. And shout out to Malta. That's crazy. Um, we're out here trying to provide invaluable information, right?
And remember, guys, like the sapper says, bearded people are just unbearded people who have beards. I like your comments today, the sapper. You're on a roll. Good damn.
Yo, I didn't even see that, man. I wasn't there yet. Oh man, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I mean, just look at the inflation situation, right? They spent the whole year telling people no inflation, and then inflation was transitory. Now they're out here telling people you better spend your money as quickly as possible because
Really?
prices is going up. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Now they're out here telling
I knew
people
they were saying like, it's not that bad, and probably.
no, now it's to the most extreme.
What are they saying now? Like 20%?
Spend your paycheck ASAP is what they're saying now.
No way, really?
Yes, sir.
Damn.
Latest and greatest from the so-called experts.
Wow.
Yes, sir. And that's what we got going on, right? And this is what people don't want to understand, right? You're out here playing yourself all day, every day, right? Most people are. And that's the scary part. Most people don't want to acknowledge that that's what's happening, right? And this is why so many people get wrecked. I mean, let's look at this, right? Um, Hold on a second. Let me see something here. Yeah, Hex topped right here, September 19th. Got it. Now,
Real quick.
yeah.
Cause D says any tutorials on setting up a stream on YouTube? Bro, watch YouTube. Just literally type that into YouTube and you'll be
Yeah, I
fine.
actually don't. I it took me a week to figure it out because I didn't even do that. So good luck, bro.
Eh, just
Like it
go to
took me.
StreamYard and it's easy, man. Like
Yeah, with
you just
StreamYard
click
makes it
on
easy.
go live on YouTube and
That's
yeah,
it.
you
Yeah,
just link it.
StreamYard makes it definitely
It's
easy.
really easy, man.
Yeah. But until I figured out StreamYard, I tried to use OBS and I was like, yo, this shit is not supposed to be this hard. And I let that shit go,
Yeah,
son.
yeah.
Yo, we're going almost on 3 months of nonstop selling.
Damn.
3 months. Now, that's nothing, right? The reality is that people have to take into account why this is being said. Now, if we go back, now this is basically big payday over here, the month of November, right? This is all due to big payday. All this here. Let me pull up the thing again. Is this it? I don't think so. Yeah. So you had a hold and it eventually stopped, right? Eventually. Right. But that's basically all of big payday right there. And that's what we end up seeing, right? It basically stopped going down around early December, and then boom. So about a whole month and a week of selling, right? Not that much, man. It seems like a lot. You had 8.4 million in volume, or I'm sorry, 6.4, 8.2, right? 4 million, 4.7. You got all this sell volume, right? And here are the biggest days, which revolve around big payday: 8.3, 6.2, and of course 6 and a quarter, 7 million, and 10 million, right? Now, let's go to present day. Now, if this shit don't make you bullish, wait till you see these charts, because the data does not lie, right? I mean, we got, let's see here, 10, 11 million sellers, 11 million again, 9 million. And this is total volume, right? So this isn't actually sale volume. This is total volume on a day of a red candle. So what you can basically, understand is that when price is going down, that means that there's more selling being done than buying, right? In nominal terms.
Yeah.
So you got 11.5 million here sold on this day. This was the day after the top, guys. The 20th of September was the day after the top. We're talking about 11.5 million hex was sold. Now that's what you call taking profits right there, right? Because we were right at 50 cents at that point in time. So next day, 3.8 million. And we go a few days later, 4.5, right? Then you got 2.8, 2.8. Then you got 3.25, 3.5, right? And you got all this. I mean, we're talking about millions of hex, man, all day, every day. 5.7 or 5.25. I mean, this is probably 8.5. I mean, just look at all the millions of hexes being sold, and most recently, early December to now, right? You got 6.25, 4.25, 4.75, 4.75 again, 5. Day before yesterday, 2 million. I mean, you got to understand, this is literally the most bullish event in the history of hex right now. Doesn't get more bullish than this. It can't. Now, why is that? Well, let's get into these charts, and we're going to see why. Now, it might not look like that right now, but trust me, what you're not seeing is this. And the only reason you're not seeing this is because of all the ridiculous selling, right? Because here's something you got to understand. There's a way to exit a market, right? Uh, plenty of people buy and sell hex, and you don't know that they're buying and selling hex. It's the retards that you see dumping 2 million, 2.5 million, 3 million, 4 million hex. I mean, who the fuck thinks it makes sense to sell a million clip of anything anytime? I honestly don't understand that. I don't. And I've been in markets for fucking ever. Never has that made sense. Never. So these are people that are selling that literally have no conceptual realization with respect to what the fuck they're doing, because when they're selling down, right, that number, and I've talked about this before, when you're swapping on a DEX, you see what the slippage is going to be. You see what it's going to cost you. That's a literal price cost to you, right? Not to the market, to you. What happens after you sell is how the market receives that sale. Price goes down, right? Because not everybody wants to get the fuck out the way, right? And that's what it is, right? So you're out here enhancing the liquidity, so to speak, or making it more liquid, right? Which is what the pros, quote unquote, aka the furus, love to see, right? Liquidity locked so that their coin price can go nowhere, right? And this is the difference between Hex and everything else. Hex has organic liquidity because people always want to buy that shit. Now, all you have to do is look at STAKER.APP on a daily basis, and you will notice one crazy ass statistic. And that's the number of transactions on the buy side versus the sell side. And you will notice that 9 out of 10 times the buy side transactions are greater than the sell side transactions. Now, how can we tell that this is the case? Well, it's very simple. We don't even need to look at STAKER.APP. Let's keep going. Now, we're going to get to that chart, which is a little towards the end, but let's walk through these charts so people can understand exactly what's going on in the system as it stands, right? And when we're looking at these data points, it's kind of phenomenal. because we've gone a long way, right? I mean, look at where we started, because this scale on the right side is everything, right? This is encompassing every metric that you're seeing here. Ethereum in orange, right here, currently at 18,132 on its index. Bitcoin in this dull pink at 4,290 on its index. And you have Hex in yellow, basically 62,000 on its index. And at one point, 180,000. 180,000. Now, that's a function of what the returns were since inception. Okay, since I started tracking this, has been on a DEX for 726 days. Now we're talking about T shares in magenta, 127,000. At one point, this thing was at 350 or 380,000. I don't remember what the hell the number was, but it was some stupid number, right? I mean, it's crazy, dude. And these are a function of returns, right? An index is me measuring how many times something has gone off of its base of 100. So if you want to know the return, you just subtract 100 from these values, each and every single one. And that's your return. You're just subtracting 100. Good luck. So here we got Hex Post Big Payday. Now, if you're new, Big Payday was this one-time inflationary event at the end of launch phase where you would see all of the inflation that was left to be minted in the system get pushed out. One-day event at the end of launch phase. Now, this is what you see, right? This is where it started. And this is what it looked like in the big picture. This is the beginning of November. And we just went over this. This is the beginning of November all the way through Big Payday, which is like right here. And then this is like the end of November and then December, right? Like we literally just looked at this, right? And this is what we see here, right? December 8th, right? Boom, December 7th, all these early days in December, right? So we're seeing that, right? That's what that is right there. Now, this is what price has done since that point in time. And that was the biggest selling event in history up to date through that point in time. Now, I want you guys to sit here for a second and just think. Think. The biggest inflationary event happened and pushed the price down that far. And look at what it did shortly thereafter. It ripped. Then it went sideways because the market had to absorb all of that inflation that had come out into the system. It doesn't just disappear, right? And this is what people don't understand about liquidity when they say, oh, Hex doesn't have liquidity. Oh, really? Is that right? Well, how the fuck are people selling millions of Hex? How are they buying millions of Hex if it has no? How? How is it possible? What am I missing that you know so much that you don't know shit? Enlighten me. Because you see this non-stop talk everywhere when you see Furus talking about Hex. And there's plenty of them out there. Right? This is why Hex doesn't need anybody to talk about it. Because it's just a bunch of ignoramuses that are looking for a paycheck. And they're not going to get one from any of us. They're definitely not going to get one from Richard. Right? So understand what the system is doing. Right? The system has absorbed all of this inflation. And that's currently what's happening right now. You've had so many people get rid of their Hex. Right? We were outperforming Bitcoin for a long time, guys. A whole long time. Let's see. What do we got here? 180
That's almost
days.
It's like
No.
3/4 of a year, no?
180 days to almost half a year.
No, half a year.
Almost half a year. We were outperforming Bitcoin from its first halving index, the most inflationary one. That was the most powerful pump Bitcoin has ever had. Everything
we're
else
still way above the rest.
Correct. Now look at the second is in blue. This is the second Bitcoin halving, and this is the third Bitcoin halving. You see that right now they're pretty much tied, right? As far as performance goes, the second Bitcoin halving has already happened and it's over. I'm tracking it in terms of days to show how much better Hex is relative to each Bitcoin halving. And look, we're just now experiencing our first dip after eclipsing it months ago, 6 months ago. 160 days is when we pass it, right? Like all the way back here. And we only went below it 200 days later. Think about it. Take a second. right? We've had the most selling in history for Hex. What the fuck do you think comes next? This just did 167x. That's 16,700% for those that can't do the math. And to be precise, it was 16,667% from this low to this high. Good luck. Now, T-shares. What is a T-share? Well, a T-share is that thing that you have to get when you're buying Hex and you're trying to earn yield from the system, right? Because what happens is that when you stake your Hex, the system tabulates how many shares you're entitled to based on how much Hex you're staking and for how long. Now, as you know, or you might not know, well, I'm going to let you know. The longer you stake, the more yield you earn, right? That's important because what is the whole name of the game? Well, the whole name of the game is making money, is it not? I thought it was, but apparently for most people, it's not. It's other shit that I don't even know exists. So I can't even talk to it. But what I will say is that when you're out here lying to yourself, you're going to get wrecked. Doesn't matter what the topic is or event or whatever. You're just going to wreck yourself, right? Now, when you're looking at this T-shirt chart, it's important to understand that while you cannot physically sell or buy or sell a T-share, what you have to realize is that it's an accounting function. And that accounting function has a value because it's how the system evaluates the yield that it produces, right? And this is why when you buy your Hex and you stake it, you get a representation of that action in the form of a share. And the more shares you have, the more yield you earn. And the way it's tabulated in the Hex system is in terms of terashares, right? Trillion shares, right? And that's all it is. You got million shares, you got billion shares, you got 1,000 shares, you got 100 shares. The more shares you have, the better. That is all, right? And if you were around the early days of the system, well, those shares cost you nothing, and that's okay. But now it costs something, right? Now it costs 5% of a Bitcoin, 6% of a Bitcoin, right? Now it costs 63% of an Ethereum. And that's what this chart is showing. Now, the most important thing for you, if you're new, to realize is one thing. Why is it that this only goes up and to the right or sideways, right? Up or sideways. That's what up and to the right means. Got it? Good. Because this leads to that. Now, how can we account for something that you can't buy or sell? Well, it's simple, really, right? This thing is a metric, right? And that metric is going to have a value based on how the system works. Because again, it's an accounting function. So how else do we determine the value in the system if we can't account for it, right? And that's what's so important about a T-share. It's that hidden gem behind the system, right? It's what lets you earn. If you buy Hex and you just hold it, you're not getting anything. It's just like buying anything else. What you are going to get is a price performance. And as you can tell, it's damn good. Because at one point, this was 4 zeros and a 5, 6, 5, 6, or 5, 6, 5, 5. That's the all-time low for Hex. 4 zeros, a 5, 6, 5, 5. So clearly the price performance is good because we went all the way up to 50 cents and now we're down to 13. Oh wait, actually, where are we today? Hold on. I think we're like at
Going up a
14 and
little bit.
change. Yeah,
15.
15.3. So there you go. Right.
We're mooning, guys. Mooning.
Well,
Mooning.
not even close. Which is
Moon.
funny, right? Because we have 28.5 billion in T-share market cap. And all that is you're tabulating the value, the dollar cost of a T-share multiplied by all the T-shares in existence in the system. So there are that many T-shares in dollar terms in our system, right? Which is cool because at one point it was 70 billion, or it might have even gone up to 80. I don't even remember, but it was up there. And now we're looking at the total value locked per staker. Now, this number is taking the valuation of every single dollar that's staked for Hex in the system. Right. So, as you guys can see, it's 115,000. Right. We've gone below that 131,000 metric. So then the question is, are we just chilling down here or are we going to see that next level? 65,000, because as I've explained before, that's what Hex does. It's log based too. And if you're looking at the scale, and if you haven't seen it before, let's just pull it up, just because it's good to talk about. People don't understand what's actually going on in this system. Table of values.
You should have this this table of values as your new profile picture.
Yeah, no,
You
I
don't
don't
have
like
to
to give.
put it up.
I don't like giving too much away, right? Because if there's one thing we've learned lately is that not all hexagons are really trying to learn.
I
So if
guess.
they don't
Yeah.
want to put in the work, fuck them, bro. Can't help them.
Yep.
So let's look at this top value. It's 524,288. As you guys can see, total value locked per staker touched that number. So what are we having here? Well, look at that. N equals 19 gives us that same number. Now, what we're currently at is N17, right? N equals 17. And when you come back and look at that, what you see is $131,072, or 72, excuse me. Go
I'm
ahead.
I'm sorry, but Diamond Dad just commented that the people in the hexagons that don't want to learn, those are hexicons.
That's a good one. Yeah, I
They
can't. I
come.
only got one screen, so I'm only. I can't look at the chat. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm probably missing a ton of gold. I'm sorry.
I just had to shout that one
Yeah,
out.
help me out with that, Marco, because I can't see shit. I just got one screen.
The hexicon.
Yeah, they really can't, right? Because I mean, this is free information and it's being given, and it doesn't have to be, and people don't want to accept it, and that's okay. They
I'm
don't have to.
hexicon.
We
Okay.
can do things around here, right? That's the thing. We can, right? But if you guys look at this chart, you'll notice that price likes to play around these values. It doesn't just tap them and keep going or go down, or it fluctuates around them, right? It plays with them, right? And this is what you see. And now it seems like it's trying to play to the downside. The question is, will we go to that next level, which will bring us potentially to that 6 cent level or not, or 7 cents or so? I mean, we don't know. We'll see. Now, if it does, yeah, you better have your dry powder ready. Because these shares are going to be priced at a level that people haven't seen in over half a year. Right. And I sent the tweet out explaining that a couple of days ago. So, or was it yesterday? I can't remember. But get in tune with what the system is doing and understand the significance of value. Right. Value is not what you pay, it's what you get. Right. And a lot of people don't understand that. Now, when we're looking here at the dollar cost of a T share versus the dollar cost of 10,000 hex, and plus what the current T share rate is, 19,698. Now, when I came into the system, this is what a T share was worth, right? Or this is what the T share rate was, right? It was a little above 10,000. That's it. That's all. Then it finally hit 11, and then it shot the hell up to 16,000, whatever. And now it's all the way at
It's
19,698,
curving up as well,
and
isn't it?
it's curving up. Yeah, the incline is
Yeah.
definitely steepest, the steepest it's ever been. Now, why is that? Well, you got a lot of early stakes that are now ending, which is driving the value of the T-share rate higher and higher every single day. And if it's not every day, it's every other day, but it's going up ever so often. And that's why you really can't wait to stake, right? You gotta kind of find a way to determine the best time to allocate capital, right? And sometimes that best time is right now. It's not tomorrow. And it's important for you to understand that, right? Because when we're looking at what the system is doing, right? If you don't know where the value of a T-share comes from, or should I say the T-share rate comes from, well, let me enlighten you. The T-share rate is literally the dollar cost of a T-share divided by the dollar cost of 10,000 hex. And what happens is that you get this rate. Now, we're going to go into this on the next chart because that's the best way to show it, because I always have a real-time calculation for the T-share rate on the next chart so people can understand best how this works. And presently, the APY is above 37%, which is great because I like to earn high yields. Don't know about you. And currently, the stake percentage of coins is 9.72%. Pretty gangster. because what that means is we get even more yield the less people that are in the system, for those that don't know. So for those of you that think that we need to scam people into this, we actually don't want people here, because it's not really that beneficial for us that like to be staked, because
No,
we like
go
to
away.
earn, yeah, we like to earn high yield. Sorry, we don't really give a shit about you. So whatever. Um, but for those that are interested in learning, that's why we share this information, right? But it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. This is why we share this information, right? Now, what we have here is the forward T-share rate. Now, the forward T-share rate is just my own concoction, and all it is just a real-time formula or calculation for the present value of a T-share rate versus what the system is asking for. Right now, this is unique because you don't ever really hear people talk about this kind of thing, but it's cool because it's what people really want to know. But whether they know it or not is another question, right? 1346 is it? Hold on, 134652. Yeah. All right, let's see here. 652, and here we go. There is your present T-share rate right now. We would take this 1.9688 number and multiply it by 10,000 because that's the base rate, right? And why else would we be paying 19,000, however many hex, if that wasn't the base rate? That's just the formula and how it works. So that's what we do. And then we get our 19,688, right? And this is what we end up seeing on this chart. That's the forward T-share rate. And what that means is that's what it costs you right now at that present moment in time when I recorded those values. So what is this chart showing us now? Well, this chart is showing us the significance of the value in the system, right? How cheap is the system relative to the cost, right? Because when you go and allocate hex to a T-share now or to the system now, it's costing you 19,698 hex. But check it out. When I did the math in real time yesterday for the crossover of the 10th, it turned out that that was one of the best times to stake in a long time because the value is less than zero. Like there's no premium. Now there's actually a discount for the staker. That's why this number is positive, because you're receiving more hex per T-share nowadays, or at least
Oh
2 days
yeah,
ago.
that's true.
That's right. Beautiful chart, isn't it? If
Yeah.
you if you take time and listen to what I'm laying down and you pick it up, you're gonna make a good life for yourself because it's all math. There are no emotions required in this business of making money. And a lot of people misconstrue that. And that's why they wreck themselves. They think that their opinion matters. They think that, well, even what I'm saying matters, and it doesn't. I'm literally just sharing information. This is what the math is telling us. This has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with anybody.
Well, a
This is
little bit with me.
just, well, a little bit with you, but this is mostly just math,
Yeah,
right? And
most.
this is
The rest
most
comes from the beard.
right. The rest comes with the beard,
Yeah.
and this is just math,
I mean, there's a
right?
reason why Santa Claus has a beard. Come on.
There you go.
Yeah.
You gotta keep the goods somewhere, right? But this is cool because now we can see, yo, this is a great time to buy hex. And for those of you that have been looking for the opportune time to allocate to T-shares, well, here it is. There's no better time
Yep.
than the present, right? And for those of you that like taking action, you love that phrase and you know that phrase well because it's a good one. I mean, look at this. You're getting a discount. That means you're receiving now. Instead of paying a premium, you are now being a receiver of hex every time you get T-shirts. So you're getting more shares for your stake every time you stake. That's a beautiful thing. Now look what the system is doing. Now this is crazy because at one point, you can't tell by the way the chart is laid out now, but at one point, right, this is not the first time price goes below this orange line, which is the total sum of all the payout per T shares that we've seen so far. And this number is at 3,258.997 hex. So just shy of 3,259 hex paid out in total per T share. So if you've had one T share in the system since the start, this is what you've been able to acquire. 3,259 hex, basically, right? So over time, this line, which is the price of X, has fluctuated around this cumulative sum line, right? This total sum line. And that's just the system tracking value. Now, for a long time, it did float above this price, or it did float above that. So it's no surprise, really, that it ultimately decided to come back and quote unquote normalize itself, right? Now, let's keep looking at what's going on in the system. Now, this is the percentage return of HEX, right? In terms of what you've received if you've been staked. Now, I told you guys earlier that all you got to do is subtract 100 from this number. 295,213%, according to what I've been tracking. Now, this is all of the HEX has been paid out to the staker since day one per T-share. Per T-share. Something to think about. Now, when you're looking at the system and what it does on a consistent basis, day in, day out, you got 537 on an index basis. Now, what this means is that the system's output has increased 5x since inception because it used to be 0. And now the systemic payout is showing us a reading 17,186, which is just basically saying 170x since inception. Now, you guys got to understand this flat line and how you're seeing it here. Now, like, you can't really see that kind of consistency in any other system, right? This is powerful. Where else can you see significant upside volatility and no downside volatility? I mean, there's never been anything like this
Have
in
you
the
ever
history.
seen a chart like this?
No, I know I haven't, and I've been making charts forever. Like, I do this for my own. I don't do it for the community. I do this for myself, actually, because I need to see what the system is doing. I just share it with you guys. I don't have to. I would still do it nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just what I do because I need to know. This is how you know how good something is or not. It's not by looking at that. This tells you nothing. Actually, this is very misleading because look at all the people that are missing out because they think this matters.
Yeah,
Or
because that's a
imagine all
bad
the
thing.
right, or imagine all the people that missed out because they thought this mattered, or all the people that missed out because they thought that mattered. Look at everything you fucking missed for being a pleb, right? I mean, that's real talk, man. Right? People are literally giving money away out here. Literally. We can talk about that some other time. I don't really feel like talking about that chart now. But here's everybody gets paid chart. And what this is showing is a payout per T-share average in multiple forms. All-time average, 28 days, and 55 days. Right? Now, if you're looking at the all-time average, you see it had that jump when we had that 24 hex payout in the system because of
Mm-hmm.
that hack. And now it's up to 4.416. And the 28 day is at 6.69, excuse me. And the 55 day is at 6.171. Now, this is crazy, right? Because what the hell is going on? Well, that payout per T-shirt on that one day caused multiple things to happen. The hackers sold millions of hex for days. Then you had that fucking, what was it, BitMEX or whatever the hell it was, hack too
I don't know,
last
man.
week.
Was a weird exchange.
That
I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you put money on exchanges, right? That's
Yep.
what you get
But there was
from
also a
exchanges.
lot of hacks that got sold.
Yeah, but that's why,
Yep.
right? Like, you had all of these things getting sold all at the same time.
Honestly, if you have a hex on a centralized exchange, you deserve to get wrecked. So
100%. 100%.
what do you do it?
100%. Yeah, 100%. We've had this conversation as a community so many times that if you have your hex on an exchange and you get fucked, that's your own fault. Don't feel sorry for you. Not at all. Sorry. No sympathy there because that is a straight up, I mean, that's below pleb status.
Yep.
Below pleb status. Like, there is no, there's no way to say it. It's just crazy. So, all of these things that we talk about, right? Like, I mean, look at the bottom of my screen. The bottom of my screen says the number one thing you should not be doing: never
Yeah,
expose
please
or
don't do that.
share. Yeah, never expose or share your private keys or seed phrase. Never, ever. Never click on links you don't recognize. Never click on links from motherfuckers you don't know. Never click on links that you do not have any business what there's going to be behind there. You just should not be doing it. This is basic internet protocol, right? Like, just don't do it, especially if it's from a third party that you do not know. Do not. Do not. Please, because this is the end result, right? This dump has been lasting longer because of these activities, these actions that have been happening. I mean, this was a day of the Bitmark or whatever the fuck the name of that exchange was hacked, because I was in Lancaster. I found out about it the next morning because somebody DM'd me on this shit. Yeah, I didn't know until I got DM'd about it. Because why the fuck would there be any hex on any exchange? And just for those of you that don't know, hex is 97% decentralized, meaning it trades 97% of the volume trades on a DEX.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Amazing,
Like,
right?
what other
Because
crypto has that? Also none.
zero, zero.
Which is weird because it's crypto, but hey,
They're not. They're just promise coins.
yeah.
Yeah, fact, not fiction. So check it out. When you go to the next chart, you see something beautiful. And this is exactly what I was talking about in the previous charts. It's just that level of consistency and getting paid day in, day out, where you don't even have to think about it. And the only thing you have to concern yourself with is, how much am I going to get today? Is it going to be 5.8, 5.9, or greater than 6? That's the only question I ask myself. And sometimes I don't even look because I don't need to, because I
Yeah.
already know it's happening. I mean, how else do you have hexagons traveling all over the world, spreading the word and not worried about their bag? Shout out to A-Biz, shout out to Patrick Hex Lion, shout out to freedomtv.info. All those guys are doing the job that we wish we could by traveling the country, putting hex in front of people's faces, introducing them to crypto, and introducing them to the right crypto, better yet. Right? Team Money, Rob, all those guys, Julio, shout out to them because they're out there, Ricky, putting in that hard work that we don't see. Dan, all that hard work that we don't see. Kaylin, Black, KC, all the homies out there on the road getting it in, right? They're doing the job that we can't do because we're stuck wherever we're stuck, right? And shout out to them because this is exactly what needs to happen. People need to know what crypto is, not be sold some bullshit by some fucking intermediary. That's what everybody else is getting, right? This is why they see the Shiba Inus and all that trash.
Yeah.
Trash that's down big because it's trash, right? And people were selling their hex on the dip to go buy that bullshit. And what happened? Well, that shit just got wrecked too. So have fun, suckers, because that's how it works. And we'll go over correlation charts. I got a whole new deck for those, so don't even worry about all that. We're gonna get there. Yeah, we're gonna skip this too. And here is the dollar terms chart for hex. And what you have here is the price of hex plus the dollar cost of a t-shirt over time, or what you're receiving in dollar terms from a t-shirt over time. And as you guys can see, that's also up and to the right. And this is the unique aspect of hex that people do not appreciate most of the time. They just think, oh, I'm going to get paid in hex and that's it. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? And blah, blah, blah. Well, they miss the significance of the compounding that comes from holding crypto and valuing it in dollar terms. And this is what this chart gives you, right? And I mean, look at this green line. All right. Now, let me explain this green line. The yellow line, before I get into the green line, is just the adjusted hex value, which is just the sum of hex plus the payout per t-shirt. So it's just 13 cents plus 79 cents. And you guys see it's 93.3 cents. Fair enough. Not that big of a deal. But this green line, excuse me. Where does this green line come from? Well, it's a computerized data point, meaning that if the data itself was not capable of emitting this trend, the chart would not show it. So, long story short, this data set that you're looking at, because this is for the adjusted hex value now. If I put it on the T-share or on the payout per T-share or on the hex price, it would be the same thing because it's just a summation of both. So why would it not print that? Maybe I'll do that next time. But long story short, this just goes to show that the move in these values that we're looking at on the chart are exponential. But you have to understand, nothing moves in a straight line, right? This is why we track trends. We don't buy trends, we track them, right? We track trends to then buy the asset at the right, most opportune time to then benefit from that overall trend, right? And this is why day traders get wrecked because they're swimming in hostile waters like this, right? Imagine thinking you're buying the dip intraday and that shit just keeps going. I mean, that's what most people do, literally, right? I've spent years doing it and that's just how it works. Now, here's the hex price to earnings ratio. It is currently representing a 16.8 16.8% valuation. Now, what this means is that you're getting 16, or you're paying 16 cents for a dollar, or 17 cents for a dollar. That's what basically this means. And we've been over this before. Markable and I literally did a stream just to explain this. So if you don't know, please
Go
go back
watch
and
it.
look
It's
it up.
important.
Go watch it because it's good and it's real. And all this means is that you're getting your money back in about 60 days every time. That's all that this means. So if you are in HEX, and of course it's been 90 days and the dump has been happening, well, how the hell can that be? Well, you got to understand this is an average valuation. This is a thing that shows you what the system is doing on average, right? And every time it takes this dip, all that's doing is compounding what's coming, right? Now, how is that? Well, shit, how the hell you think this got made? Right? I mean, how else do you think that got made? Pretty straightforward. So try to understand that, right? Try to understand that this is math. This is literally what the system is doing. This is 1 hex over the payout per T share. So every day it's 1 hex over what the system is emitting. 5.9, 5.8, 6.05, 6.5, 24, whatever it is, 10. This is what you're seeing here, right? So the value is being printed. The question is, are you picking it up? Are you holding on to it in order to see these future valuations where it's 5.5 times? I mean, this is the all-time low for the S&P 500 price to earnings ratio. The all-time low for HEX is freaking 4.6 something percent. Here, 551%. Choose wisely. And here is basically where we are in terms of the chart as far as market network effect goes, right? Metcalfe's law. Now, look at this. Doesn't that look familiar? That nice little dip before the rip? It should, because that's what's about to happen here. So here we have current holders relative to the price of HEX, and that number keeps going up, 271,910. And here we have the current stakers, or relative to the price of HEX. And as you guys can see, it's 72,000. Now, take this into account, right? The simple fact that we've just gone over how much selling is actually occurring in this system right now. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? And we're now about to get to the meat and potatoes of this presentation, where we get to see what's actually happening in the system. Right now, the staker to holder, this is current staker per current holder, it's about 26.5%. So out of every 4 people in this system, 1 of them are staked. A little more than 1 of them are staked, right? And here we have the current versus total holders. So for everybody that enters, people ultimately leave, right? And this is what this is showing. So this is showing that 7 out of 10 people come into HEX and stay. Basically, right? Now, if we can look at this metric going back here, there's some type of airdrop that happened way before I got involved. I don't know exactly when, but what we've been seeing is that those weak hands have been leaving accordingly. And that's what you want. You don't want weak hands in this system long term, because the last thing you want is a price to get to $50, $100, and then back down to 1. How sick would you be then? So it's better that they're getting out at 50 cents and pushing it down to 5, 15, 10 cents. Who cares about cents when you know what the long-term game plan is, right? Who cares? I mean, it's kind of crazy. The only reason I give a fuck about the difference between 15 and 12 cents is because of how much more HEX I can get. That's been my only concern when buying HEX, is how much HEX can I get? Not the price. How much HEX can I get? Because you cannot control the price you pay, but you can kind of control how much you get. But that also is dependent on the price you pay, right? So it's about understanding and being okay with that action once you take it. Because the system isn't here to take care of you. The system is here to provide an opportunity to you. It's on you to attain and acquire that gift, because it's a gift until you realize it, whether you realize it or not. It's a gift. Just because you don't realize it is doesn't mean it's not. Because to me, a person that's been in the markets for 10 plus years, I'm here to tell you, Once everybody wakes up to what's going on here, you're gonna be pissed if you don't own any HEX. You think Bitcoin is something, you got no fucking idea what's coming. No fucking idea. Now here
try
we go.
40% APY on top of your 6 million X.
Good luck. Because if you sold, you ain't getting none of that. So here we got current versus total stakers. So this number is basically saying out of every 5 stakers, 4 stick around. Basically. Right? And that's cool because people are understanding the significance of delayed gratification. And all this does is that it pumps the price even better because that deflation is being deferred into the future. And that's power. Right? That's power. Now let's get into this chart. This is circulating supply per current holder. And this is powerful. And this is how bullish this system is, right? At the end of big payday, right before the rip, we had 2.85 million per active holder in circulating supply. 2.85 million. Now we're all the way down to 2.11. That's a 35% drop in circulating supply. All while millions and millions of HEX have been sold. Where's all this HEX going if everybody's dumping it? What am I missing?
Yeah, supply should go up.
Supply should go up. Should it not? Interesting. Interesting.
Where does it go? If only there was this whale bot that could show me every time that money goes away for 15 years.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
That's why every time I celebrate when I see another 555 stake of above, I don't know, 100K or whatever. It's amazing. Bro, even the small ones.
Yeah, even the small ones count. That's exactly what I was going to tell you. Even the small ones count, bro, because they're powerful. Man. It's powerful, bro. People got to understand what's happening.
It's 15 fucking years, man.
That's deflation being deferred for 15 years. That means that those coins are not going to hit the market. And then on top of that, when those people finally cash in their gains, you think they're going to need all those coins? Hell no. No, they're not going to need it. It's crazy. So there's your proof of how bullish this sell-off has been. The people that understand the system are taking full advantage of it.
Proof of sell-off.
Proof of decentralization of supply.
Yeah.
Right? It's a powerful thing, bro. Now let's look at the staked HEX per staker. Now what's interesting here is that this number's been on a downtrend. Now why is that? I think we just kind of went over that right here. Less HEX to go around, right? Powerful, powerful, powerful. And here we have, give me a second, guys.
Oh, hello. I am working as well. I just finished the video and I'm not sure if you're going to see it, but it's really cool. So I think you're going to see it Tuesday on Wake Up HEX. I think, maybe. I have to message Kinetics about it. But seeing this video that I just made, I think he wants to play it. So yeah, you'll see that on Tuesday. Anyway, here you see a chart. And Wills is now back. And he's going to talk about more math.
Yeah, so let's look back at the start. At the start, there was 2.5 million HEX to stake per staker. Right? There wasn't that many stakers, and there was a shit ton of supply. Now there's a shit ton of stakers and not a lot of supply to go around. Two different extremes, right? And to think we're only at year 2 and people think that there's just all this HEX floating around, and it just isn't. And if you're not paying attention to what's going on in the system, you're going to get left behind because guess what? If you haven't noticed, that's 167X. Do you think somebody's waiting for you? Because I'm telling you what, I was still waiting for this to actually reach that bottom. I'm still waiting for it. It never happened, guys. I promise you.
You know the meme from where what is it? What movie is that? Where is it Pablo Escobar that's just waiting there?
Oh yeah. That's from the show of Narco, bro. That's from the first Narco the first season of Narco.
That's you now, man.
Yep.
Still waiting on that bit.
I'm gonna eventually be the skeleton guy. All right, you seen that one, that meme? Where it's just a skeleton just waiting. And that's the whole point that people got to understand. I mean,
they,
look at this point in time. Look back. Look at the market structure. There's so many things here that are telling you buy. And here's the
back
thing.
at back at 1 cent, there were a ton of people giving streamers shit because the streamer said you will never see 1 cent again,
Hmm.
and because like a week after it saw 1 cent again, and people gave the streamer shit.
Yep.
Well, look at you now.
Yeah, I mean those were crazy days. That's when I first started streaming. I think when I first started streaming, Hex wasn't even at a cent yet. In fact, when I first started streaming, it was actually right around here. It was like the end of January. Let me see, because it's good to go back and look. 2021. Where are we? January 29th, I think, was my first stream. Yep.
Guys in chat, it doesn't matter how much hex you have. Stop fucking talking about it. You're an idiot.
How
Stop
much Hex you
talking.
have?
Stop talking about your holdings, dude.
Oh my God. Yeah, look, let me explain something about that. How much Hex you have actually doesn't matter. If you understand how the system works, all you need to worry about is your yield, because the only thing that matters is how much capital you lay down, because you're earning that yield based on that capital. Doesn't matter when you enter the system. By the time I entered the system, you couldn't just pick up millions of Hex. So I don't know why anybody's talking about how much Hex they got or don't have. I don't have millions of Hex. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Do what you gotta do. Work like a motherfucking man or woman and get your goddamn game up. Bitching about it because you missed the start is not gonna fucking get you anywhere. Fact, not fiction. So stop being a bitch and get the fuck out of here.
It's only risk when you start talking about what you have.
Well, when you start talking about what you have, it's because you ain't got shit,
Yeah, okay.
right?
There's still
Because
risk.
you worry, no, because you're worried about optics. You're worried about the wrong thing. You never hear anybody talking about what they got because it doesn't matter. We're here to
No,
show
that's definitely
valuable
true.
information, right? We're here to share valuable information. In
Yep.
fact, invaluable information. Motherfuckers is out here sitting here waiting and talking about what they got or don't got. Other motherfuckers are buying it up and earning. So keep talking. You're gonna get left behind. Now, to talk about when we're gonna get to $1, when we're gonna get to 10, all this shit that people want to know, you gotta understand the system is designed to work like this. So what we've been seeing is that every 49 days on average, the price doubles. That's what Hex is doing up until this point in time. Up until September 9th. That's when it did its last double. Right? And we're just what, a 2x, 3x away from that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if you guys been around, but Hex kind of does that in a day sometimes. So good luck. And then this is what the P ratio dictates. The P ratio dictates that every 64 days on average, price doubles. Now notice, it didn't do shit for a long time. Kind of what it's doing now. But look what happened after that. Literally went
Yep.
from less than a cent to 50 cents.
Made it all back.
Record time. Because that's what the system is designed to do. I mean, look at this. Went from 0.00056, 4 zeros, 5656, 5655 to 0.00, what, 6.5 or something like that? Let's pull up V1 real quick, just for posterity's sake. Delete everything? Yeah. V1. No, I don't want to look at that. Bam. All right, let's see. What do we got here?
Dude.
Yeah.
I just finished the video for Wake Up Hex that I'm showing Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
It's fucking lit, man.
Well, we're gonna save that for Tuesday. As much as I would like to see it, we gotta
It
save it
looks
for
so
Tuesday.
good, man.
Oh, no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. So look at this. This high was 0.00. Is that 2 zeros? Yep, 2 zeros.
6.
2 zeros is 6 582. That was the high. And then the market did nothing until it decided to eclipse that right after I got in. I got in probably around here. I can't remember. Yeah, it was right around here. It was right around here because then I remember this. I bought more this day. So it was right around here. And that's when I was like, oh, this shit gonna go. I thought it was really gonna go because I didn't understand the system. But it ultimately came back and crashed down. And luckily before then I had figured out what was going on, so I wasn't ready to sell or nothing like that. I was really ready to buy. And that's ultimately what I did. And now look, people still waiting for this retest, bro. It's never coming. I bought down here that day too. I bought
And that
down here that
wick?
day. Yep. A
Nice.
lot of people bought that day, bro. Hexo did it live on stream. Hexo did it live on stream.
That was a good trade.
Sure was. And this was what I was waiting for, that retest, and it just never came, bro. And that's how Hex really works, right? So for people that are out here waiting, you wait and you don't understand, right? Like you have to really understand what it is you're doing, right?
Look at
And
that
if
one candle. Where is it? In between July and August, that one candle that wicked down all the way. No. Further to the right. There's this one giant candle. Yeah.
this one,
Yeah.
yeah,
It would
that's
like
what you call a feeding frenzy.
it basically when Hex dips ridiculous, buy it.
Yeah,
Because you'll have this kind of wick and you'll feel good about yourself.
because it's not gonna last. Never does.
Well, until now it
Just
hasn't lasted any
well,
of those giant, yeah, big payday, but
this
still.
you haven't really had nothing like this before. This is a constant gang of sellers, really. Right? You got people
Yeah.
that are constantly selling because they just want to get out for one reason or another. I mean, if you guys don't know, you should go to the Telegram that my man Gunther, the accountant, runs. He literally giving you tape by tape action. So if you don't know what's going on in Hex, it's because you don't want to. He gives you all the information on whoever's selling whenever they sell, on the buyers whenever they buy. And that's at t.me/hex audit. Go. If you don't know, you're going to get left behind because only those that don't want to know don't know. And I'm not one of them. So I suggest you join the crew because you will get left behind because the price honestly doesn't care. It really, really doesn't care. And that's important for people to realize because how else are you going to make these gains? Right? If you're not here assessing your situation, market isn't going to do it for you. I mean, look at this data, bro. Right? How what else on earth on average is double every freaking 50 to 60 days? I've never seen anything that does this. Never. So, do you want to bet on previous history for something that runs 100% of the time and works better than Google, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, AWS, you name it, it outperforms it just from a software perspective. Now, you guys look at the price of Amazon, you guys look at the price of Google, you look at the price of any software entity on this planet, Oracle, whoever have you, go look at their stock. None of them have 100% uptime. This does. Good luck. Now, how does the pool return on investment work? Well, it's very simple. The system is designed to do 3.69% inflation year over year. Now, it was designed to the point to where it could offer 369% if nobody was staked. So if you were around early days, nobody was staked, this is the kind of ROI you were getting. But the more people that entered the system, the lower the APY went. And this is what we were talking about earlier when we told people, well, we don't care if you stake or not, because the less people in the system, the better off we are as stakers. So don't stake. We'll take the yield. No problem. No problem whatsoever. We're more than glad to take the yield. Thumbs up all across the board. Because
Yep.
as less people leave the system, as more people leave the system, excuse me, the yield goes up.
Can I get more APY? Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Yeah, very simple.
See you in a year.
Yeah, pretty much, because you'll be back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny because you've never seen this much selling in history for Hex, and people think that this is not going to go anywhere. I mean, it's comical. Why would it not? This is literally the only thing that works all the time. I mean, find me something else that works all the time. I'll buy it. No problem there. But don't exist. So good fucking luck. And here we have a correlation chart set, and we're gonna get this is gonna be crazy right now, right? Because people don't understand this, right? And the power of what's going on here. Um, and what is going on in this damn chart? Because this is just a bunch of squiggly lines that ain't saying shit to most people. Well, first off, know what a correlation is, right? Um, correlation is the strength or lack thereof in terms of a relation between two objects, right? Two metrics, two things, right? A dependence or association in in a statistical relationship, right? That's all it is. Do they move together? Do they move apart, right? Or do they have no relation whatsoever? That's what this is saying. Now, what I'm tracking here is 21 days in orange, 34 days in gray, 55 day in yellow. Now, all of these are rolling correlations. So what that means is that I'm recording every data point for the previous 21, 34, 55 days, right? And that's all you're seeing. And this is why you're seeing all these numbers or these lines go up and down, because Hex isn't designed to move with Bitcoin. It's not designed to move with anything. And that's what you're going to come and discover as we go through all of these charts. Right, I've done a stream on the correlations before. This is not advanced, but most people don't know what this shit is. So just look it up, man. Correlation to 1 means it's a positive correlation. Correlation to -1 means it's a negative correlation. 0 correlation means there's no relation. -1 means it's a negative correlation, implying that they move in opposite directions every time that they're moving. Positive correlation means that they're moving in tandem every time that they're moving. A 0 correlation means that they're doing their own thing independently. And if you guys know anything about integration or averages, you'll know that you're just splitting this line in two. Whatever this curve is, the correlation graphs, these correlation lines, only thing you have to do is literally split this line in two, and that shows you what your correlation is, and it's trending to 0. And guess what? When we go to this chart, that's exactly what you see. A 0 correlation. This is what the R²2 is. It's just the coefficient of the correlation, right? And this means that there is no correlation because it's 0. That's what this means. Now, when you're looking at this chart, you got the hex returns on the x-axis, and then you got Bitcoin's returns. Oh, I got to change these axes. Damn it. On the y-axis. Now, the important thing to know here is that Hex's correlations are primarily positive. Right? If you're looking at all the dots, you'll see that the preponderance of the evidence leans to the right side for Hex. Whereas for Bitcoin, it's kind of all over the place. There's really no single direction. Right? And I have a whole series of charts versus many assets showing this same exact thing. And then when we compare Hex versus T-shares, it's a whole nother ballgame. Whole nother ballgame, because it's a positive correlation, and that's what you want, because that's the accounting metric that's paying us day in, day out. And as long as T-shares continue to go up and to the right, guess what that means? So will the price of Hex, because people buy it every day. Now, when all the dumb sellers are done selling, they'll be good. We'll be good. Now, think about it. Why would you want to exit something and take less money than you just had? Makes 0 sense, but this is what dumb sellers do. This is why the price dumps how it dumps. It's not because they're smart sellers. It's not because they're intelligent.
If there would be smart sellers, they would sell after they get a fucking copy of their money.
Good point.
Like anyone selling right now. What?
It's a fucking moron, man. Literally, moron.
I've never seen this amount of dump before knowing that there will be a fork and a copy of your coin. It's normally they pump.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but
It's
I think
crazy.
it's because it's too long of a time frame, and people, are too short minded for
Yeah,
that
well,
shit.
what it seems to be.
So
Go
they
ahead.
will just buy everything up like when the announcement comes because they're fucking idiots. Because that's how markets work, I guess.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, people are so markets move in a reflexive fashion typically, right? Selling begets selling, buying begets buying, and this is what we ultimately see, right? This is why price ran up so hard for so long because people just kept buying and buying and buying because people kept buying and buying and buying, and you saw that with the selling here, right? I mean, this was a drop from like what the hell was this drop? Was that 1.3 cents? Yeah, 1.5 cent or something. Yeah, it's almost 1.5 all the way down to 0.0019. I
That's
mean,
big dump.
yeah, that's a big ass dump. And a lot of us sat through that and we even partied through it. Because people were happy because they understand the people that were understood the system at the time, they were happy. They weren't mad. They weren't sad. They just bought more. Fact. What do you think those guys are doing now?
Mhm.
I was buying up here. I've been buying here. I've been buying here. I'm buying here. You gotta keep buying. What else are you doing? I mean, do you have all the fucking hex or something that you don't need to keep buying? Like, I don't understand. Is there something that you got that doesn't force you to need to spend more money on the best asset on the planet? Like, if there's something else, share it. We'd like to buy it too. Like, there's this common misconception that Hexicans are maximalists. No, no, no. We just know what makes money, motherfucker. Learn how to do some math. People like to put their money where they're going to get their money back. That's what we're maximalists of. So understand the difference. Respect your pocket before you wreck it. Now, as you guys can see, we have the same scenario again here. Bunch of rolling correlations, sometimes positive, sometimes zero, sometimes positive, sometimes zero. Zero or negative here. Somewhat positive, somewhat positive. Whoop, more negative. Somewhat positive, negative again. Somewhat positive, and zero. So as you guys can see, when you split this in two, kind of just doing whatever it wants.
It's just funny, man. Someone's always positive.
It's crazy, right? Now, here we got Hex versus ETH. Dot plot, scatter plot once again. And what you're seeing is correlation coefficient. This is basically 0.000006 minus. So there's no correlation there. And again, you see that the preponderance of the returns for Hex are on the right side, whereas for ETH is all over the place. Right? I mean, it's just kind of crazy. Imagine people considering Ethereum to be one of the top asset classes and Bitcoin to be one of the top asset classes, but they have so much volatility that their max returns 20% on this chart versus a minus 15%. Like, that's a hell of a range, right? Imagine putting your money in there and you not knowing what's going to happen. Like, that's wild, right? But it's no different for Hex, right? You got almost 200% versus 75% dip here. Right, so it's not like Hex is immune to this. However, you're getting paid the whole time. You're not getting paid for this shit.
I wouldn't want it to be immune to it.
Well, as we spoke about earlier, right? Volatility is a feature because now it's giving us the ability to acquire this asset on the cheap, which I honestly didn't ever think we were going to see 20 cents again. So I,
No.
for one, am fucking happy
Yeah, same.
because I'm buying all this shit. I can't wait to get paid. I'm getting paid in a few days, baby. And guess what the fuck I'm doing? So, I don't know what people are thinking, but they're not doing the math. That's what I can tell you for sure.
Hey, Wills, I just
Yeah.
got a message. I hope you don't mind, but
No, go ahead.
I randomly sent the link of the stream to Tangent, and he's in the waiting room.
Oh, nice. Let me throw him on. My man.
Yo, yo,
brother.
yo. Wait, I didn't realize that you didn't tell Wales. I thought you.
Oh, no, it's all good, brother.
I know he can. I can just send the link to anyone.
Yeah.
How are you both? How are you
Doing
both?
good, brother. How you doing,
Also,
man?
Wales, I saw you did a semi, like not a full docs, but a video, like a masked up video. I like
Yes,
it. I like
did.
it.
Thank you.
Just a tip, man. Just
Did
Just
you say
the
just
tip.
the tip?
Just the tip.
Yeah, of the ducks, you know. It's
This is
not
the
a full
first
dog.
time. This is the first time that Wales and I have been on a stream together. Oh, actually, sorry, no, that's technically not true. That's technically not
I think
true.
it's like the second time or third.
Yeah. There was an
Yes,
Australian.
man.
You came on the late show one time when I was on there.
Late too, because I was sleeping like a motherfucker. I was late because the time was. I just couldn't figure out the time that they gave me, and it was, and I couldn't ask because they was already gone. And I was just all fucked up. But yeah.
Yeah, all good. I do the same thing, man. Well, I guess what I mean is like, because that stream, there was like a lot of people on there, so we didn't really get a chance to have a chat directly. And then Wales and I have actually been trying to do a collab for a really long time. And then, you know, as you guys know, it's sometimes just hard to get the timing to work.
Yeah.
So stoked to be here. Stoked to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you for jumping in, because I know it's been hard. We've been trying to do this for months, actually. So, and it's been hard. And I'm just going over the correlation charts right now.
Sorry, I won't interrupt, man. Keep going. Keep going.
No interruption, brother. This is an open discourse here. You know, and again, thank you for coming through. We're just talking about how HEX is not correlated to ETH. And this is what we're seeing here. We were just talking about Bitcoin a moment ago.
I love those charts on your website, man. They're the best. I fire them at people all the time.
These decorrelation charts is everything you need. Like
it's the most important thing. Like the most important thing.
It really is.
Together with the P/E ratio, you're done. Like,
done. It's crazy. Look, this is versus the S&P 500 ETF, also known as the SPY. Right, and what I have here is 21 days, 34 days in gray, 21 days in orange, 34-day rolling correlations in gray, and 55-day rolling correlations in yellow. And now this is against the most well-known ETF pretty much on the planet. I mean, I sent a little tweet out earlier, and it's not really for crypto people because I don't know shit about stocks, but for every dollar that goes into this ETF, 25% of that goes to all your favorite brands. Now that's where your bubble is. Your Microsofts, your fucking Googles, your Amazons. I mean,
I already give them my money with super chats.
That's the funny thing. You're giving them your money in multiple ways.
Yeah,
you don't
in
even
all
know
the ways.
it. In all the ways, and you don't even know it. Now look at this, right? Not even close to 1. Not even close to -1. Straight across 0. No correlation with the S&P 500 whatsoever. This is one of the most hidden things on the planet that everybody is looking for, and they don't know it exists. And people are like, well, Wells, why don't you let them know? Man, fuck them. Take advantage, because once they come,
you have to fight.
It's game over for you. So why do you want me to tell people that we don't want to know about this until we're done packing our bags? You're done packing your bag? I'm not a billionaire yet, so I don't know why the fuck you think you are.
Look what they did with Bitcoin. They can do it anywhere.
Exactly. And what do you think is going to happen when people realize this is a 20% plus yielding instrument? Good luck. Here we have it versus the NASDAQ ETF, also known as the triple Qs. And as you will note again, no correlation, folks. None. Barely hits above 50% to the upside in terms of correlation, and then barely breaches 50% to the downside in terms of negative correlation. Again, HEX does what it wants. Important.
So that's so you're calculating the correlation at actually specific times rather than just averaging it out. That graph shows you like the correlation as
over time.
Changes. Over time.
Correct.
That's
over
incredible.
Time.
That's incredible.
Over time is what we're looking at here. And this is all time. This is since HEX has been around. Trading on an exchange, and we can track the data points. And the correlation is 0. Powerful, man. This is crazy because people do not know that this exists. And if you've been in any kind of markets outside of crypto for fucking 2 years, man, you know motherfuckers are searching for this.
Yeah. Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Period. And they don't know it exists.
Yeah, so, I saw a video with a well-known maxi, Bitcoin maxi. I won't name him. He specifically said he deals with many quant funds, and what they're searching for is low correlation crypto assets. These are crypto quant funds. And I'm
That's
like,
so funny.
and he also said they won't touch anything that doesn't have at least minimum 2-year track record. That's like a minimum requirement. So I started thinking, that was when I started thinking, I was like, well, this was just before Hex was about to hit the 2-year mark.
Wow. Well, you guys heard it here first. You better get your fucking, you better buy and stop acting like you know what the fuck is going on, because I didn't even know that. I don't follow anything in the promise coin space, so I really can't. I don't, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know shit about yield farm. All I know about yield farming is not as good as staking. That's all I know.
Yeah.
LP, not for whale. Not for you if you're not a whale. That's all I know. So now when yield farming first starts on post chain, it might be worth it.
LP is for whales only.
Literally. Not really me, but literally.
I got it.
Not me, but literally.
But literally whales only, yeah.
Literally whales only. Now check this shit out. This is Hex versus the gold ETF. Again, no correlation, guys. None whatsoever. 0.0017. Zero is the operative term here. This is just... well, let's hope those guys don't figure out what's going on over here before everybody's unpacking their bags, because a lot of people like to complain about people having more hex than them or whatever the fuck. So instead of complaining, do yourself the favor and click buy and shut the fuck up and go stake that shit. Instead of talking shit to people that have been doing their due diligence. Don't be mad because we did our fucking homework. Don't be mad. Do the right thing.
It's funny as well. People think it's easy to have gained a lot of hex, but the later you are, the easier it is. Like the beginning, all the streamers that were first, like, could you imagine what that? I can't even imagine what their mind space would have been like. Like they're talking about so like Hexologist, for example, right? Just I'm gonna stream every day about this coin. Not sure why, but I'm gonna do it. Just think about that, man. You need that much upside because there's so much risk and there's so much uncertainty. So it's fair.
It's extremely fair.
Yeah.
I mean, how I didn't find it until day 330. Should I be mad because everybody else got millions and I didn't? Like, this is like the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard in my life. Like, I don't even get the thought process. Like, you just a salty bitch and you can't even be respected. What kind of man or woman talks like that? Seriously, it's disgusting and disturbing. You, whoever the fuck you are, need fucking help. Jesus Christ. Now, this is against crude futures. Now, this is petroleum. This is where everything, like, this is where all the wars are fought for, all this bullshit. So this is an important asset. All right, now, this shit looks fucked up here because of the way paper markets work, guys. This is what you get from paper markets, right? This is what you get from paper markets, so enjoy. Again, zero correlation. Crude. Now, look at that. Oof. Just flat, boy. I mean, this thing is just... it's so gangster, man. I mean, just look at this. I mean, and it's just over and over.
Wales, do you think that the reason why Hex is decorrelated to pretty much everything is because there's sort of an inherent correlation between everything else? So as soon as Hex is decorrelated to one thing, it's basically decorrelated to everything.
Correct. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And the reason for that is because everything is priced in what? Dollars. So when we're looking at everything, and this applies to every currency, right? If you live in Germany, you live in Australia, you live in fucking Fiji, whatever currency they use out there, whatever currency it is, right? It's gonna literally be the same exact thing because everything is based in that same currency. And guess what? They're printing fiat to debase these things and make them more expensive over time. So what happens is like, let's take a look at some markets. Let's see here. Let's take a look at some random stocks, right? Now, let's throw this out here. 13 days per. Let me get these lines out of here. Now, this is AMC, right? This is nothing, not a special stock. This has been out since 2014. Let's throw SPY on there. Let me get this. Just to relay this point home, because it's very important that people understand exactly how markets work. Because everybody doesn't understand how markets work. You know, they don't, and that's okay. But notice that these markets rolled over at the same time, and they went up at the same time, except for that AMC rolled over again, but the SPY kept going, and then they caught back on again, and then it rolled up, and then it puked AMC, right? But the S&P kept going, but then it rolled over again. This was the this wasn't the this was the Rona shit, wasn't it? Yep, this is the Rona shit right here. February 2020, right, when everything popped off all the way to the March bottom, and then everything was all good after then, right? Even AMC ripped, right? And this is just a random stock I'm plucking. Let's look at something else. Nah, too short. Let's see something else. What the fuck is this? 2014. Fuck that. All right, this got more of a history. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, look at this motherfucker, man. So this stock has been around since I don't even know what this stock is. It was just some shit that I was looking from a list of high short floats, I think is what it was. I can't really remember. Pretty sure that's what it was. So going back to 96, we got the SPY here. You got this stock up here. Right now, look at what happens over time. Decorrelated, 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 decorrelated. And this is the tech bubble, right? And this stock magically ripped, right? This is one of the few stocks that ripped during the tech bubble. I never heard of it, so this is all news to me. But ultimately, right, it rolls over in 03, right? But guess what? The S&P is recovering this whole time. But ultimately, this market, this random stock, continues to fluctuate with that. So this was just really a lead to what was already happening in the market anyway, right? People were just dumping shit, and they eventually dumped that stock too, and here we are, right? But then again, that market ripped first, and then the S&P followed, and this was the 9 bottom, right? The 09 bottom. And why? Well, it's because these things are priced in similar currencies. That's really all it is. So when everything is incentivized to move the same because everybody's doing the same thing, everybody's buying stocks, everybody's selling stocks, how can they not move in the same direction? And people don't get that. It's hard for them to wrap their heads around that. What is this? This is that Virgin Galactic. Oh man, that's bad. All right. Anyways, enough of this stock crap. But now you guys see what I'm talking about, right? This is what happens, right? Things are correlated, they're not decorrelated. Hell, let's look at Bitcoin versus SPY.
Hey Wales,
yeah.
The weekly closes just happened 18 minutes ago. Are there any assets that you care about in terms of like what? Looking at weekly closes?
As far as what, like crypto or what?
Oh, just anything. Like, as in, I was keeping an eye on or like caring about the Bitcoin price. Hopefully, I was hoping it would get back above the 20-week MA, and it didn't.
What that means? Let's take a look at it.
Do you care much about weekly closes, or you're more about dailies?
More about everything, really, but not so much dailies. And the reason for that is because daily closes, they don't really lock anything in, right? A weekly close is more prevalent. Now, if you look at this, Bitcoin itself is holding above this. I think this might be my 34. Let me count here. I can't even remember. Hold on. Let me show
what's that yellow line?
Oh, that's just a trend line.
Oh, okay.
5, 8, 13, 21. So that's 4, and then 34 is 5. All right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is the 34 MA, and that's the 21. This is what you were just talking about, right? It closed below the 20. Yeah. You use a 20, I use a 21. Same difference. But what's cool to see is that if you zoom in, right, the danger that I'm guessing you're seeing is the fact that it closed below these 3.
Yep.
Or these 4. right? Because the 21 hasn't been crossed yet by none of the short-term moving averages. Now, the danger, I think, for Bitcoin will come once that happens, because that's just letting you know that the price is really, really weak, right?
Yeah.
Because it could easily bounce off this 34 in May, because here it is. It's been holding. That's the 55. That's the 34.
Yeah, it's also on their trend line now, right?
It's under the trend line, though, right? So it just depends, what the market decides to do. I like to keep things simple. I got these lines that I created, but they don't always work, right? They just trend lines. They just determine the trend. And right now, the trend is still bullish on a weekly basis. And this is a function of the moving averages as well, right? Because as you guys can see, the long-term moving averages are still below price. So technically, the move is still bullish for Bitcoin, but we've been talking bear, at least me personally, me, Kareem, even Richard Hart have been talking about bearish Bitcoin since all the way back here. And it's been the case ever since. It's not failed. I mean, it only traded above the top, for one day, and that was it. And it didn't close there. So we've been all right this whole time, right? Just because price traversed an area doesn't mean that's where it's staying. Because again, it's easy to make money, but is your ass keeping it? That's the question.
Yeah, I was really hoping that Richard was going to be wrong about this one, but it's looking worse and worse by the day for me.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that you hold Bitcoin, bro. Sorry.
So, you probably disagree with me on this, but I still believe that because of Bitcoin's dominance, it still matters for the overall crypto market sentiment. Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
I think it's a fair statement.
Okay.
But what I think the confusion there is in the fact that you're using the word crypto, because we don't have a crypto market. We have one crypto. That's HEX. HEX is 97% decentralized. Everything else trades on exchanges. That cannot be crypto. This is why. Let's go to howtopulse.com.
Yeah, that's not just. It sounds like a slogan, but it's not just a slogan.
Yeah, it's not. It's true.
And I think even if, say, someone like let's take HEX out of the picture for a minute, because we all love it. I think it would be a fair comment even for people who are not big fans of HEX to at least admit that the market has become even more segmented this
100%.
Like in the recent years. You've got these subcategories that sort of move in their own way. So yeah, to sort of have a comment like that, to have a category like that where you're saying like the crypto market, I think it is increasingly that is not the case, that it acts like that.
I mean, let's just look at, okay, this is a Bitcoin white paper, right? I always reference this like every stream, and here I am showing it, and I want people to freaking read this thing. Like, stop acting like you know and educate yourself, right? What the fuck is a cryptocurrency supposed to be? Well, here it is. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through what? A fucking financial institution. Wow. Well, guess what the fuck is not happening here?
Statement one.
And guess what's not happening
No exchanges.
Here? Yeah. No exchanges. Period. End of fucking story for all those dumbasses that don't get what crypto is. No motherfucking exchanges. Period. This motherfucker, exchanges. This motherfucker, exchanges. This motherfucker, exchanges. This motherfucker
that third motherfucker is an exchange.
It is an exchange, right? It is an exchange. That's right. This motherfucker barely works. I don't even know why people buy this anymore. I don't know why people buy this fake coin either.
Yeah, dude, soul dead, man. Soul dead. Soul gonna be so dead.
It's only used for buy exchanges, right?
Oh yeah. So look at the circulating supply.
Yeah.
Look at the circulating supply, 70, or I'm sorry, look at the market cap, 77.9 billion. Look at the volume the past 24 hours. Now, there's been many times where we see this actually eclipse.
It's higher, yeah.
It's market cap, right? I mean, and that's crazy because this isn't doing that, but it's got a shit ton of volume that doesn't make sense. Who is trading $20 billion worth of BNB?
2 billion.
20 billion.
It says 2 billion.
Is it? Oh, 2 billion. That's still ridiculous. Let's do the math.
Fake as fuck, yeah.
Yeah, let's do the math, right? Because it's all about the math. We're about to take that number Yeah, we're about to take that number and dissect how many BNB have actually been traded. 2, 1.
Yeah, you know,
1, 2,
when
3,
people
4,
say,
5.
"Oh, I look at the hex volume and it doesn't look right compared to all the other coins that are in the top 10," it's like that should be the indication that those ones are
lying.
Because
stuff.
literally Hex is the most transparent one.
Yeah.
What
We've got provably honest volume. So if that doesn't tie in with the ratios and expectations that people have from other coins, then the problem is at their end.
Yeah.
Simple. It's so simple, man.
But people like bigger numbers, so they don't want to listen.
I don't even know what the actual answer is there, to be honest with you. Because if you got $20 billion, yeah, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's kind of crazy. Let's dissect this another way. Hold on.
People see bigger numbers and they think bigger number is good.
Now, this means for every coin, right? Every single coin, right? How much was traded? Now look at this. Is that a number? What the fuck is that?
What?
Right. Like, this is the number, bro. This is the number. You're gonna sit here and tell me this is not wash trading, right? Because when we put this is the price of one BNB over all of the dollar volume of BNB traded.
So how many coins should have been traded?
The inverse.
The inverse. Right. If we take this number, put it down here, that's the dollar volume of all coins traded divided by 1. Right. And what we end up getting is a weird number. I mean, this doesn't even make sense.
No,
it's a mixed fraction, right? 303 million.
So 3.5 million BNB. They're saying 3.5 million BNB got traded in a day.
In a day. Interesting, no?
I mean, do you think they're including the volume of, like, say, BNB pairs? So say there's like BNB pairs for alt, where BNB is being used as the base pair. Do you think they're including that into the volume of BNB traded, which is bullshit? That's another bullshit. That's also
double
fake.
Counting, isn't it? That should be double counting.
Because with those ones, people are not trading BNB; they're just using it as the base. So I don't even think that should be counted. And then there's probably wash trading on top of that.
So let me tell you how they count volume in the stock market. Typically, what happens is somebody buys one, somebody sells one. That's one. That's it. Doesn't count as two. Counts as one. Same thing in futures. Somebody buys one, somebody sells one. That's one transaction. That's it. Done. Right? So what you end up seeing on the screen of a random thing, like, say, Bitcoin or whatever, that's the count for each transaction that happens in accordance with the volume for that transaction. So it should only be counted one time, not 2 times. So if somebody's buying 10 Bitcoin and selling 10 Bitcoin, that should just be 10. It shouldn't be 20. Because then you're double counting, right? You're double counting.
But isn't there a buyer and a seller on each side of every trade?
But only 10 are swapping, not 20.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing. I know it's confusing because it took me a while to figure it out, but you only have X amount being swapped, right? Whether it's a stock, whether it's a bond, doesn't matter. There's only X amount being transferred between one entity and another. And that's it. So that should be the only quantity that's being counted. Now, I'm hard pressed to believe 3.5 million BNB traded hands. Where'd they go?
Also, T-Bird has some good input. He says, but where did the ETH go?
Let's find out.
Wait, guys, I just looked at the pairs, right? So, like, if you look at BNB on CoinGecko and you actually rank the markets by volume, BNB against Luna actually is like one of the it's like in the top 10 freaking volume rankings.
What's the trading volume?
Can you see that is clearly not people buying and selling BNB. That's people buying and selling Luna. Like that is not BNB's volume. BNB is just being used as the base pair. So you can imagine, like, even on a DEX, if everything's being routed through a core asset, like say BNB on Binance Smart Chain or ETH on Ethereum, then that would make the volume explode. And it's only being used as a means to getting those coins, not actual real deliberate volume on that asset.
It's like Ethereum almost, right?
Yeah.
It's like we buy Ethereum to use it for gas. We don't buy it to hold it. Right?
Yeah, you can use BNB on Binance as well, right? To pay for gas, whatever.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that as well. I mean, I think
I can't remember. Wasn't it one time like $3 or whatever in 2017?
What, Binance? Yeah. Less.
I can remember I bought that and then I sold it for like.
I bet you feel dumb now, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm joking, man.
Pretty much. Well, I could have gotten a lot more Hex from it.
This is part of the reason why I'm so bullish on Pulse. There has not been a single chain any chain, even non-EVM compatible chains, that provided that they've become even mildly popular, that have not done ridiculous gain.
Yeah, man.
Ridiculous gain.
Even if
Pulse has got an instant community, it's a no-brainer. Like it cannot do bad.
So let me ask you.
Even chains that didn't have anything and also didn't have any hype.
Just ghost chains.
Just nothing.
Provided it got a name that is like recognizable within the crypto community that people like recognize, it's just ridiculous gain. Ridiculous.
Correct. I mean, all right. So we were talking about volume, right? Let's look at what's actually happening with Ethereum of all things, which is pretty interesting. Ethereum has 118 million of its coins traded today. How is that possible?
118 million.
Where am I getting that from? All right, market cap today is this. 24-hour volume is that. Oh, I'm sorry. I was literally dividing market cap. Let me use the right number. I'm losing my mind over here. Give me a second. 11.18. 11.18. Oh, actually. Points. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what we get here. Oh, 2.7 million ETH traded today. Where'd all that ETH go? This is how much ETH traded today. Where did all that ETH go? Ain't that crazy? 2.7 billion ETH. You're going to tell me 2.7 million ETH change hands in one day when there's only 118 million of them and nobody noticed? The market went nowhere? Really? Today. This was today. And these are the things people don't talk about. People talk about the dumbest shit except real things. Right? And this is what's crazy. Where do we go from here? Like, how do you explain this to people that aren't even looking at things that matter? Like, what's actually trading hands? People aren't even looking at that.
Yep.
Right? And this is why we have to point out, important things like, look at how Hex is decorrelated versus everything else. I mean, this is how we even got to this topic in the first place, because people don't understand that every trade is the same. I mean, it took me a while to figure that out, so I guess it's not easy to see. But when everything is traded based off of fiat value, it's all the same trade. And it all is meant to be a low vol trade because they don't want volatility. Remember that. We went over this early on in the stream. And volatility equals what? Opportunity. Right? Now, when you look at something like the S&P 500, let me pull up the futures on that. What do you see? Just constant up and to the right. Now, this is a weekly chart, guys. This is from the 2020 low all it's done is go up and to the right also. Now, there's a reason for that. It's because people are forced to put their cash into this because they don't know there's anything else to put their cash into. And this isn't paying them anything. It's really not. I think the dividend yield for SPY might be, hold on, let me pull that bullshit up. I don't know if this is going to show that this. Let me just pull up the SPY.
Diamond hands.
Do I not have it? Yeah, it's a little thing me and my boys do. At least the pleb ones. Where the fuck is SPY at? Yeah, not all of them are crypto, bro. I try to put them on, but you can't help people sometimes. So.
Nah.
Oh my God, dividend yield is 1.2%. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, and this is the shit I'm talking about. People do not know there's a yield-bearing instrument that pays actual yield out there. Now, what do you think is gonna happen when people realize there's an asset out there that's decorrelated versus fiat, versus crude, versus gold, versus regular asset classes such as the SPY and the NASDAQ, right? S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. And then on top of that, it has perfect correlation to T-shares. Now check this out, TA. Tangent, check this shit out. Rolling correlations over time, of course, were 0. And so the system got its shit right. You had your big payday right here, right?
Holy
Correlations.
shit.
Yeah, correlations started going wonky. Inflation had to get absorbed by the system, and this is all you're seeing. And ever since that happened,
No way.
non-stop, baby.
Flat line.
Flat line. Positive correlation across the board.
Sick.
99% and up.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that looks insane.
It better. Because this is what it's all about. If you understand the T-share rate, you understand that the dollar cost of a T-share always goes up because it's literally designed to only go up. The T-share rate can only go up, folks. It cannot go down. Read the
And
code.
look at the correlation. That should tell you enough.
Well, here's the ticket.
I fucking love this chart.
Up and to the right.
Yep.
Nothing more. 65% correlation coefficient for the returns on this. So that means that 65% of the time they're going to be in accordance with each other. That's powerful, man. That
with
means
something that always goes up and to the right.
With something that always goes up and to the right.
That's madness. The flatness of that line makes it look like it's a data error, but it's actually legit.
Nah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. How crazy is this fucking? I mean,
crazy.
If you've done any kind of statistical analysis at any point in time in your life, then you've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
Never. This is not normal. This is abnormal, in fact.
Yeah,
and that's how powerful this shit is. But that's how powerful this shit is, right? Crazy, man.
Yeah, I think at one point someone tried to say to me that it was negatively correlated, and I was like, no, dude, it's like 0. Check out Wales's website. It's like it's literally 0. It's not.
Yo, people love to say HEX is correlated to shit all the time because they don't know what they're talking about. They don't take the time to look at the data. What they're doing is looking at a simple snippet in time.
People go to a market cap list. They see, oh, this is red. Oh, this is also red. So they must be correlated.
Literally what they do. You're right. 100% correct.
It's funny as fuck. Man.
Now look at this. This is versus copper. No correlation whatsoever. And that's one of the most commonly used economic metals that we have on this planet. Industrial metals that we have on this planet.
Oh, yeah?
Copper? Oh, yeah. It's using all kinds of shit. Everything uses copper, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of electronics, durable goods, all kinds of shit uses copper. I mean, plumbing, all kinds of shit. Wiring, electrical wiring, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, all your cams and all that stuff, copper. No correlation. Sorry, guys. We're still better. Gold futures. And I just picked it because fuck it, gold. Everybody likes gold. Well, let's look at gold futures too.
Yeah.
0 correlation, baby.
Just to mess with it.
I mean, you cannot beat this asset class, man. You just can't. right? And now this is versus the 30-year futures. And this is the long-term interest rate. And I've talked about this plenty if you've been around and you heard me ramble on about this shit.
So Wells, before you move on,
Mm-hmm.
so over the last several months, I'm just selfishly asking a question that I want to know the answer to.
Yeah.
Over the last few months when HEX has been trending downwards, or if you were to look at just that period, has the correlation been on the increase? Because just without me actually doing the math, crypto has been going down and HEX has also been going down. So
versus what?
Say like, I guess total cap, but like mainly just Bitcoin and ETH. Yeah. Like as in, I just from my perception, I expected HEX to sort of, I was hoping that HEX would pump when other cryptos would crash.
Nope. It's been zero.
And so it's still been low. Yep. So each one of those data points, what unit of time does it look at? Is it a day or is it?
I'm looking at the previous 21 days for every day. So an amalgamation of the previous 21 days every single day. So it starts
I see what you're saying.
All the way back here, and I'm tracking.
It's like a rolling average.
Correct.
Yeah.
So each one of those lines, it adds a day.
It's the same as your.
Yeah.
It's the same as your moving averages.
Right.
So
21-day moving average. Right.
That's surprising that it's still. So I guess this is why you have to do the math, right? You can't just do it in your head and be like, oh, crypto's been going down and HEX has been going down. You have to actually look at the math.
Yes, sir.
You can't do it in your head.
Because it's an average of 21 days. Or 34.
Yeah, like look at this. This is the orange line of 21 days. And it was pretty positive. It hit above 50% most recently in terms of positive correlation because HEX was going sideways. And I guess so was Ethereum at the time. Yep. And then eventually HEX rolled over and Ethereum did not, I'm guessing, because the correlation went to zero. Right. And now it's just going sideways. Because I think ETH isn't doing much of anything.
Oh, that's why the highest correlation lately was actually during a sideways period, not a downward period. That surprises me. Yeah.
Right. So let's look at ETH on a daily basis versus HEX. So let's see. HEX topped out September 19th. Right. So this is literally the top for HEX right here. So I actually had it backwards. HEX was already at the top and ETH was just bottoming out before it ripped. Right. So when we look at HEX, it topped out here on the 19th and then it just rolled over, or it went sideways until the 10th of October and then it puked. So interestingly enough, it looks like people were just selling until they decided to put their money in ETH. Right, here's the 10th. So they're not even that directly correlated. So you see, we're trying to pick spots that just can't be picked because ETH ripped way before. Right. And if you're looking at Bitcoin, it's pretty much the same deal. Interestingly enough, this is the 19th September, which is when HEX topped. And going through the end of September, that's when it ripped. And now it's just rolling over again. And interestingly enough, I mean, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked because, I mean, I thought it was obvious, but clearly not. Right. Over the past. Go ahead.
Have you messed around with reducing that number right down just to see what the chart looks like in terms of, so the shortest one you've got there is a 21-day, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you messed around with numbers that are like sub 10, sort of like, or even just like sort of like 3-day MAs and stuff like that?
Nah, not really worth it because
it becomes too erratic. Like in terms of,
it's going to change too frequently. You're not going to get a good read on the data and what it's actually doing over time.
Okay.
Because imagine if you're acting on a day that's only on a data point that's only 3 days valid. How strong is that data point? Right. The longer, right. If you look at the yellow line is 55 days, which is the longest I'm using in terms of a rolling moving average here. And it shows you how strong the decorrelation is between these assets because it never really reaches that peak that the 21 days does. Right. Now, if you're looking at things on that short of a time basis, well, of course, they're going to be perfectly correlated and perfectly decorrelated. Right. Or uncorrelated at the time. Right. It just depends. But the shorter the time frame, the falser the signal.
Yeah.
Important to understand that. And this is why we look at things on a varied basis. And you really want to lean on the long-term signals. I mean, let's look at the T-share read because it's kind of important. I mean, each freaking moving average is all the way the fuck up here, bro.
What has happened there?
This is the system working as it's designed to. Is it not? Because that's exactly what everybody's been saying this whole time. Because let's think about it. When you're buying Hex, what's the objective? To stake it. Now, what happens when you stake it? Well, you get shares of some form, whether it's a M share, B share, T share, whatever share. You're getting some form of a share representation so you can receive yield. That's a whole objective, right? So if the T share rate is constantly forcing you to get more Hex over time, well, the dollar cost, and this is the dollar cost of a T share now, not the T share rate, but the dollar cost of a T share. So Hex is moving in tandem with the dollar cost of a T share. Now, what's interesting here is that the correlation for the 21 day is breaking down. Now, you can't see it on this chart because it's very long term, but let's go to this chart, the shorter term version, so you can see it. Let me get to it. Oh, wait, past it. And what you'll notice here is that the last time it broke down, what happened? Rip. All these shadows you're looking at here, that's the 21 day, or I'm sorry, looks like the 34 day. But there's movement here, right? And these correlations, because it's still weak, so they have to get in line, so to speak, right? Like the system has to normalize itself, and we're seeing this little breakdown again. So every time you've seen this little foreign breakdown happen, guess what that means, guys? That means the T-share is getting ready to affect the system in a way that you're not ready for. That's what that means. And we're seeing it right here, right? Like that's a warning because the correlation is never not going to be positive. It's not, because the system is designed to work that way. It forces you to buy more Hex in order to acquire a T-share. You don't have a choice.
Yep.
It's not taking Bitcoin. It's not taking ETH. It's not taking anything else, just Hex. So by default, this should always be positive, never negative. So when this becoming disassociated, that means that the T-share price is doing its thing, right? So what I actually have here is the dollar cost of a T-share on this chart. I don't even have the Hex price on this chart. Most and every other price, every other chart, you're looking at Hex. See? Hex, 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 right? Here, we're literally just looking at the T-share because I want people to see the T-share on this chart, the dollar value of a T-share. Look at it. I mean, it stopped. It stopped. I mean, and I noticed this last night, and we'll talk about the power of values again because power of values are two again because it's just that important. The table, right? Let's go here. Oh god, these motherfuckers are killing me.
So does a large if there's a large sudden dump in price, is that the way that could go negative in the short term, but in the longer term it has to be positive? Is that the deal?
Nah, let me explain. So take a look at what's happening. The dollar
why was
cost.
it? Yeah, because like why was it? Oh, okay. Sorry. That's not at the 0 point. No, it is.
No.
That is the zero. That is the zero correlation in the middle.
Yeah,
So
the middle line is 0.
These zones, you know how you said it should tend to be positive. How did these zones occur where it did dip below for a period?
So this was back in the day, right? This is when nobody really understood the system. This is when the system was still getting all its inflation out. So there's a lot of sloppy activity in the system, right? I mean, you know what other chart shows this really well? This T-share rate. Is it? Yeah, here we go. You ever seen this chart? Let me show you. Let's talk about this chart here. This chart is literally showing you the true value, the true real-time value. This blue line that I call the forward T-share rate is literally the true value of a T-share when you're paying for it at the crossover every night in Hex. So at certain points in time, it was ridiculous.
And that chart has calmed down a lot.
That's right. But look at what's cool about it. Notice when it calmed down. Right here, right after the thing started ripping. Now let's look at the date because I want you to understand this. Look at this. And the April, right when the market took off, right?
Yep.
Right when the inflation got all out of the system to the point where it couldn't even go below 1.5 cents. Now let's look at this. Look at when it started going full positive at the same time.
Yep.
Coincidence? No, sir. All of the inflation was out of the system. So there was only but so much hex to go around at that point. And that's what we see here in the value of the T share. Like now, the market was forcing a premium on others to acquire a T share. And that's what you're seeing here in this line. This yellow line is the difference between the T share rate when you're buying and staking hex in real time versus what the system is asking of you at 19,698 hex per T share presently right now. So when I did this calculation the other day, which as you know is just a dollar cost of a T share divided by the dollar cost of 10,000 hex, we ended up getting 19,688, which in turn means you're receiving more hex for your T or more shares for your hex to the tune of 10, right? Versus what the system is asking you for.
Yep.
What that means is prime time opportunity to get hex because, or I'm sorry, T shares, because it hasn't been this cheap in months, as you can see, right? Because when these two lines are touching, that means the premium is either zero or there's a negative premium, or there's a, I'm sorry, not a negative premium, but a premium. There's either a premium, discount, or fair value. And right now we got a discount because as a staker, you're getting more for your hex versus what the system is asking. That's why the forward T-shirt rate is 19,688 versus the systemic rate, which when you go to stake hex, this is what it's asking for. It's 19,698. It's important to understand that because what this means is now is the time to get T-shares because it's super cheap relative to what it's been in a long time, very long time. I mean, this is going back.
So it's pretty much come back. It's pretty much come back to that fair value.
Correct. Well, it's even at a discount because you're getting hex now for your shares because it's a positive value. It's typically negative.
You have to factor that in. Yeah.
And it's typically negative, and that's, it's crazy, but it's true. Right now, what I wanted to show you, Tangent, is just how this is the dollar cost of a T-share, right? Look at where it stopped. Because I noticed this yesterday, 8,192. Now, this is a log-based 2 scaling on this line here.
So it was pretty close to 10K, wasn't it? It was, I think it got up around that.
Wait for it, because your mind is about to be blown, sir.
Do it. Blow my mind.
N equals 13. What's that number?
No way.
Yeah.
So your scale, you've actually used this. You've got 2N is the axis, like it's the axis labels.
That's right. Log-based 2. That's what this is. This is a log-based 2 scaling, letting us know how many times something is doubling. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. Every time it eclipses and it gives you another scaling is what? A double of the previous value.
There's a reason why Richard was talking about how many doubles. It's not just for fun that he's talking about how many doubles.
Nope. Not for fun at all.
It's not just random that he talks about 11 or 12 doubles instead of this many X's. Like, yes.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. I thought he was just memeing that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
no, sir.
I thought maybe he was like breaking it down to something that was more easy
for
people to comprehend.
He did.
Because when you start talking in large X's, people just, their mind doesn't even comprehend it, but people understand doubling your money. And so if you explain it in, you doubled your money, then you doubled it again, then you doubled it again, they can think like at a casino, I'm betting on red and black. It's like winning on a casino game like multiple times. That, you know what I mean? Like people can comprehend that kind of math.
Yeah, you're right. But also this.
But this, yeah. Yeah, I think over time we learned that most of his stuff is deliberate. There's method within everything that he does.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, my first video highlights exactly this, and nobody really knows it. So I know who's watching and who hasn't, just based on that. Because I explained this shit literally my first video, bro. People don't fucking pay attention. And
I've had a lot of people mention that video actually. It's the log base 2 or whatever.
Correct. Video. And this is all. And this is all it's showing, bro. 1, 2, 4. Because if you invert, right? Log base 2 is telling you how many times something doubles. That is all. So if you take the log base 2 of this number, guess what you're going to get? Do I still have Wolfram Alpha open? Let's see. Nope.
Hey, Wells, off the top of your head, do you know if there's, those charts that Richard posts with the line, with just like the random line? Have you looked to make sure that line, does he occasionally like adjust that line?
Nope,
or has he just stayed with that same line the entire time?
It's the same. And
same line. Whoa, okay. Blue Bum was right. Hectic. That's hectic.
Sir.
And we're almost back down to that line at the moment, right? We've almost come back down to that line.
Yeah, we are back to that line. Yeah. Now look at this. Log base
right now we touched it, I think.
Check this out.
So that's it. Bottom's in.
Check this out. 13 is 800 or 8,192. When we take the log base 2 of that result, what do we get? 13.
So what was the next one? It's like 16,000 and something.
Right. That's what's next. Right. That's when Hex hits
this is the same. This is the same as freaking computer shit.
Yes, sir. Metcalfe's law.
This is the bits. Like this is why. This is why like a megabyte is not exactly 1,000. Like it's
correct.
Dude, you have no idea how well I can meme that. You saying, dude, this is just like computer shit. in a blockchain space. So
I can do it.
That is kind of funny, right? Like, how the fuck you don't know yet, bro?
The semi realized that, like, this is computer shit.
I'm clipping that just.
Oh my god!
Just so I have
funny, it, bro. But this shit is powerful, bro. Because most people don't know this shit. Not I say it all the time.
Yes.
People gotta fucking learn what's going on here, because this is why people own other shit and not what they're supposed to own. Hint, hint.
The thing that messes with me, Wales, and maybe you can fix this for me right now.
Sure.
The thing that messes with me is a struggle to hold together this concept that, in terms of, like, there's the math, but then in my mind, I'm like, in a free market, anything can happen. So I struggle with this idea that there's any kind of predictability, even in the long term, of what the price is going to do, because there's humans involved in the system, that these network participants, that each can do whatever they want, and that can impact the price. So you know what I mean? Like 100%. Say theoretically, if we all work together, we could break the math, right? Like, as in, if everyone decided, like, let's mess up this line that Richard has drawn, there's nothing guaranteed about that line.
Sure, I get that. Now, this is the question I'll ask you, because this is why it makes it obvious to me that this is literally the best thing to own.
Okay.
What other thing out there is giving you 10, 20, 40%, 60%? What? Just for holding it?
Nothing that I would be willing to participate in.
Yeah, so
bingo.
Nothing trustworthy.
Nothing.
Dude, nothing trustworthy. Like, there are things out there that claim to give those kinds of yields or higher, but nothing that I would want to be in.
We had this analogy in another stream. Like, if a tree is designed to be a tree, it will become a tree. It's just, it can grow a little bit to the side and it can grow a little bit around stuff, but it will still be a tree. Like, this system is supposed to do something, and it's doing it, and how it's going to do it, we'll see. But it's going to do it one way or another. It's going to grow.
Yep.
Great analogy. Here's another one.
Provided the tree doesn't die.
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay, but that's with everything, you know?
But I guess with this tree, we're watering the tree. We're watering
we're watering it like crazy.
We're watering it, fertilizing it. It's in the middle of a Zen garden. We're all bowing down around it. This tree gets looked after. This tree is a special tree.
But it's not a cult.
Wait, should we start a hashtag? Hashtag not a cult?
No.
Nah. Let's not highlight.
I'm joking.
No, I'm just saying, like, because people like to talk about, the scam shit and all that, but we really shouldn't be highlighting negative attributes, because there are none.
No.
There are none. Like, let's think about it. And this is what I'm gonna tell you, because this is why it's easy for me to only own Hex and buy nothing else. what software have you seen that has 100% uptime in your lifetime? I don't know how old you are, but I'm pretty sure we're around the same age.
I know this
And
answer.
I know you have not seen any software that has not ever run 100% of the time. Let me know which one.
I agree with what you're saying, and I think it
Even
actually
video
comes down
games,
to the
bro.
simplicity
Even
of
video
HEX.
games. Even video games.
Tangent. Say
I think one of the
Microsoft
best.
Paint. Say it.
Yeah. I think you can only sort of achieve this sort of thing if you keep the idea simple. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about HEX is that it didn't try to do some like crazy thing that was likely to have bugs. It kept it to the simplest level, so you're actually more likely to have reliability. It's almost a similar sort of strategy as what Bitcoin did. Like keep the complexity as simple as possible to minimize the chance for bugs.
And then it had an inflation bug.
And then yeah.
Whoops. And then it had another one. Anyway, this is the point.
Good point, Tangent.
And this is the point. 741 days, flawless operation.
Yeah. That's hectic.
What instrument out there does that, bro? Even hardware can't work this well. It overheats. It fucking needs maintenance. Yada yada. Like, think about the simplicity in that alone. There is no reason to own anything else, my man. Honestly, there isn't. Now, if you want to be diversified, knock yourself out, but you're gonna pay the price.
I really liked what you said earlier. It was just when I was backstage and I'd first come in the backstage where you said, if someone can pitch me another investment that's as elite, I will buy some. Like it's simple. There's no hypocrisy here. There's no maximalism. There's no playing favorites. There's no obsession. It's literally just you're using logic on your investment thesis.
That's it. It's not rocket science.
And I think that's a fair comment.
Yeah. I mean, how can you disagree with that? I'm being 100% honest. Show me something that is as good and I will gladly allocate. Not a problem because I'm about making money, not fucking praying to some random god that doesn't exist. I'm not about that shit, bro. Right? Like I think that people have it confused when they misinterpret why people admire Richard Hart so much, and it's because he's given us the opportunity to escape slavery. It is not anything else. And he did it by creating this tool. But now people have to also understand this tool, right? And how to use it and what are the benefits of this tool and why it's such a great tool. I mean, you know, this is like a hammer, right? And Johnny talks about hammers all the time. Shout out to him, Mr. Chaos. And you know, this is a tool, a hammer that's built to fucking hammer shit. Like this shit is gonna hammer shit every fucking day, and it's not gonna fail at hammering shit every day.
We're gonna make everything a nail. We're gonna make everything a nail. We're gonna hammer everything.
And it's gonna
every other crypto's a nail. Oh, that's right. I think I might tweet that. Hex is a hammer, and every other crypto is a nail.
That's right. Like, we're nailing them coffins.
Attention! It's almost like it's computer shit.
Almost like it's computer shit. It's almost like it's computer shit. I mean, how crazy is it, yo? I mean, just think about it. It's that simple. Even ETH doesn't operate this well. ETH has issues all the time. And hell, even when they were building Pulse Chain, which we haven't even talked about, my God, let's get to that. Even when they were building Pulse Chain, they helped ETH fix their shit.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, that's how you actually know a project is legit, is
correct.
They actually start working to improve things within the space. So when Richard made that comment about his devs contributing to Geth and like improving what was publicizable and also what had to remain back like behind closed doors for now, that also gave me a lot of confidence in what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, that was some crazy shit, wasn't it? I mean, I didn't expect that. You're talking about,
same.
Fix your competitor.
Yeah, like,
same. I thought Richard would be very sort of reluctant to do anything that would improve the competition.
How about that?
But it shows a commitment to that open source ethos, you know?
Yeah, plus he already knows he won, so
That's true. Wait, that's true as well. That's true as well.
I mean, that's powerful, right? I mean, everybody in the space hates this guy, not because he's a scammer, but because he's that fucking good and they suck. That's the reality.
Yeah, they don't want to face that reality.
But that's the reality. So why would you want to own anything else that he isn't even involved in? I mean, he even improved in Ethereum, for fuck's sake. And they don't
So Wales, with that sort of investment thesis, does that mean you're not going to be actively looking for things on Pulse Chain, like new projects that come out on Pulse?
Nope. If it's not under the same
guidelines, you'll rely on people bringing it to your attention, even if that means that you might not be in as early.
Not necessarily, but
bro, what is better than Hex?
This is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'll say. If something with the same parameters as Hex comes out, I will gladly look at it. Trustless, no admin keys, true crypto, not on 50 million fucking exchanges. I'll gladly look at the shit.
Yes. They are minimum requirements.
Minimum requirements. And let's talk about Pulse now, because I gotta let people know, man, I am not looking at trash. No, ever, never. You're out your fucking mind. That's gonna be a minefield, just like BNB is a fucking minefield. Because guess what? It's no different. People can easily create anything on any blockchain. People need to understand that. So it's on you to do your own due diligence. You want to get involved in crappy projects? Knock your fucking self out, but you're going to pay the price. Does that project have 100% flawless uptime? Is that project actually crypto? Is that project trustless? Is that project no admin keys? Is that project decorrelated from the rest of the shitbags that exist out there? And if you don't understand what I mean, well, shit, then you probably shouldn't be making it.
Oh, and that's actually a really good point, that decorrelation attribute, you can't assess that early. You need the data. So
that's right.
So yeah, it's
look at this. This is versus the long-term interest rate for the US, 30 years. 0.0011. Zero correlation, man. And people are out here looking for yield. And this is even decorrelated from that.
Yep.
Powerful. Powerful, bro.
It's absolutely madness. When you look at when you look at its attributes, it is madness.
It's ridiculous, man. And people don't want to respect it. Now let's go to freaking
Wales. I've got another question for you. This is a big, heavy hitting question. And actually, Markable, you can roll in on this as well.
Oh, thanks, man.
Sorry. I don't mean that to sound.
I'm ready.
Like I guess I'm pitching the questions towards Wales because he's been the one that's been showing
I'm joking,
the data
man.
stuff, but obviously these are for both of you.
I'm joking.
So if I'm not saying this is the case, but if there was market manipulation of price within an asset to force it to be decorrelated, would that, how much would that influence your desire for that asset? Would that completely ruin it, or it's
I get what you're asking.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying that's the case with Hex. There's no evidence of that on chain.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you can force that. Markets don't work that way.
How would you force that?
If you were a big enough whale within that asset,
but like
you could manipulate the price. If you had both sides, if you had a large stack of both sides of the
but you wouldn't do that just for correlation's
sake. What's the point of that? Yeah, that literally makes no sense.
Well, just like we've been saying, that decorrelation is massive, right? Like it's an excellent parameter to have.
That would mean that that's fake correlation. So the moment that there's a bear and it's actually correlated, that means that you would have to buy so much of your own bags to keep it decorrelated for no particular reason, because you're buying your own coins up. So it doesn't really make sense to fake that.
I don't think this would be 100%.
If I understand this correctly, your answer, Markable, is it would be difficult / dangerous to do it to try and do it for extended periods of time. Like
there's no incentive to do it, so it won't happen. Just for correlation's sake,
that's what I'm saying. That's the
market
incentive.
Market manipulation is obviously a thing, but not for correlation's sake. That doesn't make any sense.
Even if it meant that say like funds,
you can only do that.
Investors would be like, "Yo, this is decorrelated. I want to get in."
Well, if you do it short term, but like bigger investors would want to see proof during a bear market, I guess. So you would need to have a shit ton of funds already, and then why not just pump your bags? Like,
and I guess it would be difficult to obfuscate that and not be obvious the addresses that are doing it.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it's really practical or incentivized. Like, it's not really a thing, I think.
Well, thanks, guys. You're putting my mind at ease, because that was one thing that I was thinking. I was like, this decorrelation is like, you've got to admit, it's like,
but like
something,
it's like
something's too good to be true. That rule, if something's too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true. It's like not true, like usually not true. This decorrelation is magic, man. It's like the greatest.
But you have to understand, the decorrelation or correlation just exists, and it's not something that is created per se. It's just, it comes with the rest. That makes sense.
That's another good point, that it would be very difficult to calculate what you actually need to do to maintain that decorrelation.
Yeah, because you said it yourself. You can't
that would be
you can't
madness.
really do it in your head. You have to do the math, and then it gets
so you would need a bot. You would need a decorrelation bot.
Like, but then
you need some kind of bot.
But you have to understand, you would also have to sell down the price significantly if the rest of the market goes up like crazy. And then you're kind of just selling your own shit down just to get that number of decorrelation. And then the moment you stop manipulating that shit, it correlates again. So it's not,
you're committing to doing it forever. Or
you have to do it always, or at some point in the chart you will see that it becomes correlated again.
These are all amazing comments, by the way. These are all amazing answers.
Unless you create the meme that it's decorrelated and people, but then they know that doesn't matter because of psychology of the people in there. Nope, makes no sense.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, and that's again true, that you can meme people into like buying or selling, but you can't meme them into decorrelating, because again, they don't really know what that means. Like
no one does.
They wouldn't know how to act.
Math.
All you can do, and if you were to meme decorrelation, that should just signal to people to buy. So you'd only be encouraging buying, not further decorrelation.
Yeah, you can't really enforce that, I think.
Yeah, you can't. Because correlation.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, the thing you gotta understand about correlation.
Tangent is finally buying Hex now.
He's
gonna drop his Bitcoin.
You know I'm a bag holder. You know I'm a bag holder.
He's like,
what were you saying, Lance?
You can't enforce decorrelation. Let's buy.
Yeah, right. Like, now I know the truth. It's all clear.
Like, the secret's out. Bye.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's a fair concern, right? Because, here's the thing: correlation does not imply causation, and correlation does not infer causation. It either is or it is not, right? Because we can't ever ascertain what one thing is doing versus another until after it happens. It has to actually happen before we can record it and see. And that's what's hard for people to guess, because they'll look at a 15-minute chart of one thing, look at a 15-minute chart of another, or as Markable said earlier, look at a market cap ranking site or some ranking site or whatever, look at a list of cryptos and see that they're,
is it red or is it green?
Yeah, and if they're all red or green, then they're all correlated or decorrelated, whatever, right? And that's not reality. That's not how it works.
Another really solid point, that it's more complicated. It's not. There's no. It's not actually calculatable in real time, is it? It's a backward.
You can calculate it in real time, but it's always going to be trailing. It's never going to be to the minute. It's going to be previous minute and before. It can't ever be as it happens, because it can't. It has to happen before you can actually track it. That's the weird thing. So you can't honestly sit there and think that somebody's going to sit there and like juggle all these different bags that they have to juggle, right? Because you have to be buying HEX, you got to be selling HEX, you got to be buying ETH, you got to be selling ETH, you got to be buying Bitcoin, you got to be selling Bitcoin, you got to be buying this, you got to be selling that. All these things. If I literally sit here and look at HEX versus everything else, you can't sit here and tell me Richard Hart or whoever the OA is selling fucking copper and buying copper, so it doesn't look correlated, or doing the same thing with gold futures, or doing the same thing with 30-year treasury
You
futures.
see it
It just
everywhere.
doesn't make sense. It's not plausible, right? So this is how we know that the issue is the currency.
And like you said, it becomes harder over time, doesn't it? It is, as the asset grows, it becomes harder and harder and harder to maintain.
Right. And that's also why you want to be buying bags that are affordable, right? You don't want to buy a quarter of a Bitcoin. You want to buy 20,000 HEX, for example. I don't know what the number would be, but I mean, look at this. 3 second
this
average
is the pulse
time.
chain.
This is testnet 2. Yeah, this is crazy.
So, quick question on testnet 2 that one of you might know the answer to. I haven't looked into it. Easy one. Did say
I feel like trivia.
Say you launched
right. Is this Cabana happy hour?
Right.
Sorry guys.
You good, man.
I get so excited about HEX and Pulse. So did say someone launched a contract on testnet 1 that was not on Ethereum, so something that was not mirrored from, that was not taken from the ETH system state, but launched actually on the testnet. Did that get copied into testnet 2, or did those contracts get drop off when testnet 2 got launched?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know actually, but I would assume
I'm gonna have to check.
I would assume that they got picked up because all they did was add things that weren't there to the testnet, as far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
I can remember
glitches and stuff like that.
I can remember someone saying something you can just copy over everything. I'm not sure.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I make videos.
I mean, it's crazy, right? Because look at the transaction time, right? Average block time is now 3 seconds. It was 4.5. So what that means is when you're putting in your transaction and Pulse launches, you better be sure of where you're sending that shit, because it's gonna be gone instantly. 3 seconds sounds like a lot of time, but when it happens, it's quicker than you think. What's 3 seconds?
It is quick blocks. It is quick blocks.
Very quick blocks. I've never seen a chain move this fast ever. Right? Like, this is pretty crazy.
Same.
So this is some powerful stuff, right? So we're going to be seeing a lot of people come in and try to open crap projects on here. It's just what it's going to be.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
one thing I've noticed that just reminded me from the graphic you've got up is, I think like on the testnet 1, whenever I send in the block, it comes up. See how like some of these blocks, it says 2 transactions. I don't think I've ever seen it say 1 transaction. And I think a single send actually shows up as 2 transactions on this block Explorer thingo.
Yeah, because the other one's saying 0.
So like, because like if you look at the actual transactions, sometimes it's just when there's just one yeah. So I think that's a thing. I don't know why that is. In fact, I should mention it to David. See if he's got.
Not seeing anything.
But yeah, so keen. And I think it's hard on the testnet to actually stress test the block size, because there's not that incentive for people to start getting like real crazy with their contracts and their transactions and that sort of thing.
I mean, it's hard.
I would think they would have done that in testing.
But they would have internally tested that, full on.
Let's see what we got here. Interesting. EIP 2718. No idea what that even is. Beat though, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, so beat is the Satoshi of Pulse, like
Pulse,
it's small increment.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad he took that one. He took that recommendation, because that's pretty cool. Makes sense. Look at the value. Imagine what this is in dollar terms.
Oh
yeah,
nothing. So that one beat that's literally one of the, like, that's 1 times 10 to the negative 18. So that's
right.
So effectively zero.
Zero, right. I mean, imagine that. I'm talking about basically free transactions, right? So people have to understand, number one, you got to be diligent when you're trading on this blockchain or transacting on this blockchain. You know, make sure that what you're doing is the correct thing that you're trying to do. Don't just be out here pissing in the wind, right? You can't be doing that. You got to make sure that your transaction is going to where it's supposed to go. In addition, understand that there's going to be a lot of opportunity here, right? You're going to have yield farms. You're going to have all this crazy stuff going on. Make sure you understand what you're doing. Do not rely on others to tell you or help you understand. You need to understand what you're doing because it's your money. Don't go and put your money in bullshit that is not going to yield you any long-term results. I mean, there's a reason we make all these damn charts and talk about all this crazy shit. It's because it matters, right? What are you doing with your money when you're not doing your due diligence? Well, you're pissing in the wind. Whether you want to realize it or not is irrelevant, but that's what you're doing.
Don't buy pulse chain kitties. Don't do it.
Don't.
Actually, I'm gonna make that.
Here's the thing.
So rich.
You gotta understand what you're buying, right?
Pulse chain kitties.
I think you just gotta understand what you're buying. I don't think there's anything wrong with buying random shit, but understand
I do.
You're not gonna get your money back.
Yeah.
Right? Like, understand that. You can buy whatever the fuck you want, but understand you're not gonna get your money back.
Yeah.
Right? It's like buying some sneakers or some shit. You're not getting your money back. Buying some shoes, you're not gonna get your money back. That's what you're doing when you're buying trash. Right? There's a reason we like actual assets. Well, there's a difference between speculation and non-speculation, right? This is non-speculative. This is non-speculative, right?
If you're buying trash, then your financial play is that you're hoping that someone is going to invent like biofuels, and that is a long play.
Sitting on my trash. This is gonna be worth something, man.
I mean, this is crazy, man, because people just don't want to understand the difference between price and value. They think that because NFTs are hot or whatever, that's the play. That's wrong. By the time you should have got in, it was a long time ago. So you missed it. By the time you hear about it, it's game over. And that's what normal people don't understand. They're literally the top makers all the time because they don't understand that. Right? I mean, look at this. How crazy is this? I can't get my eyes off these 3 seconds. This is insane. And that's exactly how quickly this shit is moving. It's bananas.
Yeah. I've definitely had times where I've been hypnotized watching the blocks.
And also, can we this is just a real quick website design-wise, but can we already appreciate that this looks better than what we currently use?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, heaps.
Look at those colors, man. Beautiful. The gradients. Crazy stuff, man.
Yep. Greg Wedding says Markable is 24 and he has had that beard for 22 years.
Was that?
Can't disagree.
That's a good one, man.
Can't deny.
That's a good one. I mean, just be worried when Pulse Chain comes out because there's gonna be a lot of bullshit coming out.
Yeah.
Right. Understand the new paradigm that has been set with Hex, with Pulse Chain. Understand. Right. I mean, I even titled the stream that because this is all brand new shit that does not exist. What should have existed 13 years ago never came to be. Now we have an opportunity of doing what should have been done then now. So let's do our damnness to ensure that it stays that way. We don't need intermediaries. We don't need anything. We need to educate the masses as far as to what crypto is and how it's powerful for them. That's what we need to be doing. Not worrying about some stupid ass institutions because they don't fucking matter.
I love what you said before, man. Like, I reckon if people set those minimum requirements that you said, the thing, no admin keys, not like, not an exchange supported thing. So it's something that's like predominantly DEX based, all of those criteria that you said before, that that list is going to help people rule out like 95% of the bullshit. And then that means that if you're involved in other ones, some of them may or may not be scams. Some of them may or may not pump. Some of them may or may not like gain or lose money, but at least you're basically distilling it down to the ones that are actually the most likely to not screw you. Yeah.
Simple as that. Right? I mean, how else do you get to where we've gone in such a short period of time? There is no other way. Right? Like there literally is no other way. And I've missed some super chats here. I'm sorry guys, but I wasn't watching the stream at all. Thank you for the 55 Singapore dollar double. Dude, appreciate that, man. And for any other super chats that I missed while I was going over the charts, I'm sorry, but I only got one screen here, so yeah. But that's all I got, man. I mean, I just really want people to understand, right? Like we've laid out what crypto is and shown that we can be super successful by sticking to what the minimum requirements are. So if you come across another project, another whatever, that's what it should be. It shouldn't be anything else. Right? Like, understand that, guys. Hex has been successful for a reason. Wow, that's funny. Hold on, I gotta share this shit. I gotta show that thing you put in
Twitter. Yeah.
That shit is
Shape Crypto just sent it to me.
Oh man, shout out to her. Shit is mad funny. Hold on. This is
such a
super
good
funny.
image, man.
Yeah, man, this is super funny.
Far Out Aliens, I'm not sleeping. Someone is snoring in the background though.
It ain't me this time.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me show this real quick.
Well.
Doesn't get more perfect than this. Come on.
It's not working.
Can you see it?
No.
Oh, am I sharing my screen yet?
How many streams have you had, man? You still don't understand how to share a screen?
It's funny how that works, huh? Boom. Man, how crazy is this, man?
That is truth.
Oh, shit.
Oh man, funny, the illusion. It's true. People think that it's like, oh man, men with guns. It's nothing. It's
not even men with guns. That's the funny part. People think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People say men with guns. It's like nothing.
Nope,
this is
it's
true.
Nothing.
Do you remember the guy on Wake Up Hex that said that the US dollar was backed by guns?
Sure do.
Yeah, I miss him.
I do not.
No, I don't.
I do not.
And with that,
not at all.
Everybody done told you.
That's about right. Yeah. So remember the minimum requirements, guys, for a crypto. Do not get, corralled into nonsense thinking that buying bullshit because it's on a new chain is a smart way to go. Because you don't know what's in that contract detail. You don't know if you can actually exit that trade once you enter it. And that happens so many times to people. It's not even funny. Right? Like that happens all the time when people buy shit and then they can't get out of it.
Yep.
All the time. So understand, everything is a trap if it's not trustless. And the trustless is not trading on an exchange, not having no admin keys, all these attributes that you already know if you have Hex. So if you're deviating from those basic principles of cryptocurrency, well, guess what? You just got fucking wrecked. And on that note, Tangent, thank you for coming through, my man. We're already here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, it's been a pleasure, bro. We're going to have to do it again. Because
Indeed.
This has been fun as always. And anytime I stream with my Hexagon homies, it's a good time because we're always having a good time here. Because guess what? It's a fucking party over here. Because
thanks for answering all my questions, man.
Oh, bro.
Really good to see you both. And we'll do it again soon.
For sure, man. And you guys, everybody out there in the chat, you guys have a good rest of your Sunday or Monday, depending where you're at, right? And we'll catch you guys on the next one, and we're going to ride out.
See ya.
Peace. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep.